Hey, hi everyone on live. Okay, so I think this will work. I'm sure it will. Yeah, this will work. Okay. Hi. So today I'm going to be doing a run through of the zodiacs, like I do sometimes. Happy December 16th. Saturn is about to move into Aquarius. And then Jupiter is going to move into Aquarius. And then they're going to conjunct in Aquarius. And my Saturn is actually in Aquarius. So I'm coming upon my Saturn return. And I'm excited. I know that they get a lot of sort of, they have quite a reputation. Hey, Cap. But I don't know. I think I'll be all right. You know? My personal life has been very busy for the past month and a half. Lots of stuff has been happening, amazing things happening all at once. And I've wrapped it up. So, goodness. There were a few moments when I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all this. How are you doing today, Capulus? Welcome. And I'm thinking about, I've mentioned it before, thinking about putting some like packages together or whatever. And like writing up that curriculum that I want to like walk people through. I have the perfect person in mind. Glad to hear you're good. And I hope they will be, I think they'll be a willing participant. Actually, I guess I kind of have two in mind, but one of them more so than the other. I'm amazing. Everything is just, I'm in rest mode now. Well deserved rest mode for a little bit before things take off again. So, all right. So the way I do this is I separate out majors, minors, and quarts. I run through the minors as zodiacs. I'm not doing elements today. So the aces are going to go with the majors and the pages are going to go with the minors. And then we'll see how they pop up. I don't have any of the timestamps on here at all. But I guess I can do it as I go, honestly. Let me make sure I'm in here real quick. I can like actually kind of see today. So that's height. Let's see. Let's come to the timestamps. Mutables, fixed elements. Let's come right here. All right. So I haven't separated this out before because to me, the separation is part of the process. Timestamps will be in the description box after I'm done, starting with the 10 of Cups and the, oh my gosh. Oh, snap. Hold on. Wait. Okay. All right. This is cute. You can. Thanks, Kat. You don't have to, but I appreciate it. Oh, I need to get into this. That's why I brought this down. I'm going to ding the bell real quick. Just to. Love that. Okay. The 10 of Cups, the 10 of Coins, and the Hierophant are the bottom three cards. Like, that's amazing. And you can actually see the cards. Oh, I can see them. Yeah, that one felt kind of good. The 10 of Cups, the 10 of, ooh, this is giving me stained glass window vibes today. Then I actually saw a stained glass window not too long ago. Oh, and then look, we have two stars with the eye in the middle. So that could be the space of thank you. It's the Weaver Tarot. This is the Journeyman edition. I also have the Ascendant edition. I didn't get, instead of getting the Oracle deck, I got 2 editions of the Tarot deck. I'll get the Oracle deck sometime. But we have these 2 stars. So that could be this great conjunction coming up. And then this moon on the Hierophant with the tooth. Teeth symbolize wisdom. And there's another tooth on this coin off to the left. And on the other side of the tooth is the seed. And then the Hierophant has the keys to the kingdom. So this to me speaks of, it's like better days ahead. But it's almost sort of like depending on our ability to incorporate the things that we've learned this year, especially, and the things that we've learned in general. Because then it's like it's graduation season, more or less. And then there's the death card with the sun. What? So, and then death and the sun, that's that transformation that leads to those brighter days. And I feel like before we couldn't reach it because we kind of sort of got too knotted up, tied up, twisted up, tangled up within ourselves to really fully get there. But because of whatever all of this is, you can see each coin has a different lesson, right? And it's like all of these coins have gone into the piggy bank. Now it's time. We're not breaking the piggy bank, but it's like at the end of the year, your coins don't roll over. So you cash them in, or you don't have to, but they don't roll over. So you just lose them if you don't. And so we're cashing them in. Looks like an esoteric altar. I don't have too much knowledge about altar spaces, but I agree. Oh, wow. They actually show up. I can see that they show up now. That's cute. But with all of that integration, and then we have the hands in the sun card are kind of sort of, I don't know what mudra that would be in the shape of, but it's almost like a meditative type of sort of thing when you put your hands together. The glass card, yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Um, it's that transformation that allows us to really to get there, to go where we've never gone before. So that's cute. Okay. Oh wait, I'm supposed to be separating these. Oh my gosh, I forgot what I was doing. The 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles threw me all the way off. So we have the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, Death, and the Sun card as the bottom 5 cards. That's pretty wild to me. Starts in the yin realm. Yin yang. The 7 of Coins. Okay, let's just get through this. All right. Like I said, timestamps will be in the description box below after I get these all separated out. So the aces are going with the majors. I said that. So the knights are mutable. The kings are fixed. The queens are cardinal. And then each suit is that element. And that's how I'm going to decide. I'm not going to include the title card today. That's how I'm going to decide who gets what. Okay. Ooh. King of Wands was in reverse. Aces are majors. I'm going to have to go back through those. Oh, wow. Okay. Zelda, hey, how you doing? I forgot to take the pages out. Pages are seekers. Okay. There should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Thank you. Zelda, I am amazing. This year has ended in a way that was wilder than I could have imagined. Like my overall for this year was the 6 of Wands, and it's definitely been this year. Man, it's been this year. But anyway, yeah, I'm good. Thanks for asking, and I'm glad to hear that you're doing all right. Okay. I wonder what we're going to start with. I'm feeling Aries today. Since I'm feeling Aries, we're probably going to be starting with like Pisces. Okay. Oops. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Now these should. Oh, I wanted to grab another deck. Okay. I don't know what these are for, when these are for. I'm just kind of going to go with it, and then we'll see what's up. I'm going to grab the Diceology cards because I meant to actually grab those first or before. Get that half cut. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I'm so ready. I'm so ready to move. Oh man, exciting times ahead. I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming. Well, it came exactly when it was supposed to, because honestly I wasn't ready before now. Which is wild because that's one of the things that I've been actually noticing and observing a lot lately about, and I talked about it a little bit before. It was like I had to 2 years ago was the beginning of me learning to accept the things that I was losing in life. And 2 years later, it's like I'm getting it all back and then some. And my own perception of my future has been so limited for so long that now that all of those limitations are non-existent, like literally don't exist anymore, I don't even know what I'm going to do because I had already kind of put myself in a box. It's like, oh yeah, that box, yeah, no, she doesn't exist. The card that just came out says, inspiring others by bold example, proper magnetism and clear intention, and clearing of the fog. I love, there's a sun energy here. King of Spades. I love that the clearing of the fog is here because it was about March or April when I was like, oh, it's like this fog that's going to be rolling in, and those who can like find the light within, because that's the only light you're going to find, honestly. Or not honestly, but it felt like that was the only light that we were going to find, was the light within ourselves. Like those that navigate out of the fog, they kind of sort of come into this self-mastery. So got to operate from God's space, from that space of love. Okay, so these, this is how I'm going to do this. I'm going to put, I want to put them here, but I want to read them last. Okay, so let's see who's first. Let's see who's first. Let's see how wrong I was. So first is the ruler of wands. So it's actually Leo. Leo 15:12. So I wasn't too far off with Aries. Although I said it was going to be Pisces, part of my brain was like, it'll probably be another fire sign. No, I still thought it would be Sagittarius. But let's see what's up with Leo. So Leo's coming out with the High Sage and the Eight of Wands. Oh my gosh. The High Sage is the High Priestess. The High Priestess and the Eight of Wands for Leo. That's amazing. Last time I read for Leo, it was in the Fixed Signs video. And I'm trying to remember, there was something similar to this energy for Leo. Like Leo was coming into a position where they were really going to be able to start creating things in their lives the way that they want it, instead of just like the way that it happens. Now, in that reading, there was this thing about backflow. Well, I guess Leo was the only one that didn't really have that. For Scorpio, it was like internal pressure is too low, so everything on the outside is coming on the inside. For Taurus, internal pressure was high, but it wasn't yet like a time of movement, so the inside was going to the outside. For Aquarius, it was a balance between for Aquarius, it was about reaching an equilibrium state. For Leo, I can't even remember what that was about, but I do remember that it was something powerful. Now, with the High Sage and the Eight of Wands, this to me reads like you know everything you need to know. You have everything you need to have. No one else, nothing else is going to tell you any different. And with those moons and that High Sage energy, it feels like Leo was like letting time pass by instead of moving on this. Also, there's an energy of compression, like lots of things happening at once, time accelerating and stuff like that. The card that Leo got is the King of Clubs, where feminine and masculine meet, the conception of innocence, nesting, and preparation. And I think it's that nesting and preparation. I feel like Leo has been in a space of preparation for a long time. And maybe that's what the turning of the moon is. Because it's not the sun, right? So with the moon cycles, it's all about, it's like time going by, maybe feeling like you weren't necessarily progressing or moving or going anywhere. But it's like little did you know, as the moon was going through its phases and cycles, so were you. And there were things that you were almost getting sort of subconsciously. And it's not that it's necessarily subconscious, it's just like it feels like little things that you don't necessarily notice in the moment. And some of it, like you wouldn't even know that it would become what it eventually becomes. But it's like now you're perfectly positioned to really move forward. But you're going to have to take charge in this. I feel like the time for nesting and preparation is over. That's what I got for Leo. Let's keep this short. Let's keep these quick and let's move it on. Next is Cancer, which is interesting. The sun and the moon. We just had an eclipse. Cancer 18:37. All right, Cancer. I don't think I've read for Cancer yet. I can't remember if I did cardinal signs. I don't think I've done cardinal signs. All right, Cancer. Let's see what's up. So Cancer is sitting at the moon and the Six of Cups. Now, the moon rules Cancer, but in tarot, it's not Cancer's card. There are icebergs melting in this. There are 6 cups, well, 4 cups on the bottom, 2 cups above. For Cancer, this feels like it's almost a similar energy to Leo, but more subtle. So in the 6 of Cups, we see the 4 cups at the bottom, but those 2 cups at the top are almost hidden by both the clock and the roses. And so it's this energy of like, it's not like time release, kind of like a time capsule. Yeah, it's an energy of a time capsule. And the icebergs are melting. And while the icebergs are melting, it's like the water is going to go into this eye. And so it feels like a space where maybe you haven't gotten the clarity that you needed. Maybe you were like emotionally iced over or unavailable, not available to receive. It's like you weren't able to perceive something the way that it actually was because of things that you were holding on to, and it feels like emotional. It feels like emotional blockages. But it's like as this iceberg melts, as the water goes from fixed to, I guess, fluid, then you get a more complete picture. And this may be related to self love, honestly. Maybe there were some like past traumas or some childhood stuff that really affected the way that you perceive yourself. And because it affected the way that you perceive yourself, it then influences how you interact with others. And so it feels like a very defensive type of energy. But as long as your defenses are up, I feel like you're not going to see whatever it is that you could see in its full clarity. And that's why the last two cups are hidden behind the wall of roses and the clock, right? When you can get into that self love energy, then it's like, boom, it's all available, it's all open. The Four of Cups, that's like missed opportunities, that's being reserved and isolated and not open to receive even the things that it is that you're asking for or wanting or wishing for. And maybe you don't see that because I mean, it is the moon, right? So, and we got icebergs, it's below the surface. So maybe you don't even see how these things are affecting you. The card you have is a swaying tower that is moments from toppling, clouded vision and burning lands and a powder keg. It's the Nine of Spades, which could be a Nine of Swords energy. And it's in what clouded vision is on there. A powder keg is on there and a tower is on there. So I feel like it's really time for you to be raw, be emotional, be vulnerable, and to not let, I feel like Cancerian energy, I mean, water signs kind of get a bad rep for being emotionally manipulative, but it's like, it just feels like not knowing necessarily how to convey whatever it is that you're feeling in a way that isn't hurtful, harmful, or destructive, right? It's like if you don't necessarily have anyone to model what a healthier conversation about like feelings and being upset is, and all you have is like someone like screaming and yelling and doing all kinds of stuff, then it's not to like invalidate anything, but it's like there's a more productive way that you could go about talking about things that upset you and things that hurt you, to the point where it's like instead of, or just like talking about it in general, right? Because maybe you don't even talk about it, you just like hold on to it, and then you start to act like real petty or salty or whatever because you're upset at, whatever it is that you're upset at or upset with. Other people may not even necessarily know what they did or didn't do, and then it's like this no-win situation. And I feel like if your thing is like, oh well, I don't want to be weak, I don't want to be vulnerable, so I'm not going to say anything, then it's like, okay, but you're also not really like handling or addressing it either, which is causing you to miss out on things that you could be receiving in some way. I don't know. These are short. They're whatever they are. So next is the Conqueror of Wands, Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Sagittarius 24:54. All right, Sages. Now, y'all is one of the ones I talk to a lot because I'm always doing mutable signs, apparently. So let's see what's up with Sagittarius. I want to do the major first, and then I'll do the minor for this one. Oh, hold on, wait. Can y'all see? Can you see? Hold up. There you go. The devil. Sagittarius got the devil. Girl. Okay. So Leo. Oh, every card so far has the moon represented on it, which is interesting. It's just worth noting, I guess. It was, what was it? I thought there was another moon. Maybe that was before. So anyway, because Leo got two moons, the light moon and the dark moon. Sag has one moon. Sag and Leo trine. We see triangles here in the devil card. And so it feels like the moon is involved here. Okay. So this skull is not naturally horned. This skull has grown horns. And I say that because where the horns, and I can see these details now, this is crazy. And there's thorns around the horns. I've never noticed that either. So there are thorns around the horns at the bottom. And there are these cracks, these fractures in the skull that run down next to the thorns. Okay, yeah, you can see them. Those cracks that run down the thorns. And then there's also cracks in that third eye area. Now, in this deck, thorns symbolize it's bound, stuckness, and resistance. And this is cardinal energy. It's Capricorn. Okay, let's go to the minor. So your minor is the Eight of Swords. The devil and the Eight of Swords. So yeah, you don't even see it. It's like your hands are tied, but you don't think they are. And it feels like you think you know something, but whatever you think you know, it's because of what you already know. And the reason why I say that, because it's like with these cracks on the third eye or in that third eye area, I feel like there's this energy of like, oh, like I'm seeing something or blah, 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 whatever. Like my third eye is open. And it could be, but it's like not in the ways that it almost feels like unnatural, just like the horns. Because if this creature naturally had horns, then the horns wouldn't have caused fractures in the skull. And so it feels like this energy of like trying to pierce the veil in some ways, but not in all ways. And so it feels like this energy of being open and receptive to, I don't know, this is a heavy energy for Sagittarius that I'm not necessarily trying to get into. If this don't resonate with you personally as a Sagittarius, then don't take it. But it feels very misguided. Because whatever this is, I feel like it's preying on again, like what you already feel, what you already believe. And with the Eight of Swords and these hands being tied, it's that saying like, if you make your bed, you're gonna have to lie in it. So wait. Okay. Um, yeah. And so it feels like it's partially like confirmation bias and some other stuff. But it's like whatever, instead of seeing the truth, almost like Cancer in a way, instead of seeing the truth, you see whatever just like validates what it is that you already believe. And that's something that I've said for Sagittarius before. So that's not brand new. But this devil energy, Sagittarius got the devil last time I did this, I think. Sagittarius was last, and the devil came out. And it might have been with the Eight of Swords, too. It might have been with something else. I don't know. But I know Sagittarius got the devil another time, too. It feels like a what goes around comes around type of energy. It feels karmic, but in the sense of like it's coming back around. And sometimes when we're upset, we do things that we wouldn't do if we weren't upset. And sometimes when we're upset, we feel justified in the doing of it. But if you don't have the complete picture, if you only have what it's like, if you have the version of the story that someone wants you to know instead of the full truth, you could end up doing something against somebody, taking something from somebody, having this opinion of somebody that is completely untrue. And then whatever you feel like you're in the right with doing, you're actually not. Now, since you have the choice and the free will to do whatever it is that you want to do, you also leave yourself open to the consequences of those, right? For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Now, this could be a warning about like moving into the future, about not being so quick and not being so hasty to jump into things because you may not have the full picture. It's about getting more information, it's about being open minded and not just looking for things that already confirm what you already believe. Because it is, you can get anybody can tell you anything. That doesn't mean it's right. But as long as it sounds good, then it's like, oh yeah. It's like, oh, I'm really smart, and that's what I believe. So yeah. It's like, okay, well, you can be really smart, but also wrong. I don't know. The card y'all got is the Four of Wands, Four of Clubs, understanding the unseen, grasping the subtle in a sacred vessel. Now, it was in reverse. There's more Capricorn energy here. Actually, what is that? That's the Wheel of Fortune. I'm sorry, the Wheel of Fortune in Virgo. The third eye, Earth, and the solar plexus. I want to see what this number is real quick. And the what, seven of zones, which is the seven of swords energy. So the seven and the eight of swords. But I don't usually read these in reverse, but I'm feeling it because it's the understanding the unseen and grasping the subtle. But it's in reverse. So again, it feels like you think you know, but you don't. But because and it feels like you're gonna feel justified in doing whatever it is that you're planning on doing or whatever it is that you've already done. Come to find out, the person was innocent. And now you're the one that's done whatever. That's why we should be what slow to is quick to listen, slow to speak. And there's a saying, I think it was Aristotle, it's like to be angry is easy, but to be angry at the right person for the right reason to the right degree, that is not easy. And it's like when you can already be hot tempered anyway, and when somebody knows that you're hot tempered, and so they purposefully twist information because they want to see like what you're gonna do. It's like, oh, we want to see him or her pop off because they want to be entertained. And it's like, okay, well, and that can be anybody or anything. That's why I don't know. We should. I don't know. That's what I got for you, Sagittarius. Good luck with that. Next is the Conqueror of Coins. So we're going from Sag to Taurus. No, no, to Virgo. Goodness. I was like, hold up, wait, that ain't right. Virgo 35:11. All right, Virgo, let's see what's up with you. I'm actually going to start here for Virgo because I'm loving Virgo energy. Bringing order to thought, proper delegation of tasks, seeing the internal through the external. 1616 and 3. This is air. This is the magician. This is Virgo again. Also, the third eye and the root. 92 is, I want to say Earth, but I'm pretty sure it is Mercury. Oh, for Virgo, Mercury. You get Mercury, you get Virgo, and you get air with the magician. For Virgo, this is like all Virgonian energy. This is cute. This is hot. Bringing order to thought, proper delegation of tasks, seeing the internal through the external. I feel like this is about Virgos being in a space to, it's almost like this feeling of the things that you try to fix within others, the things that you try to help others with the most, the things that, and this is very human, but the things that you get the most upset about not being able to do for others are the things that you need to begin to do for yourself. Because it feels like the things that you want the most. And it's almost this energy of like sometimes being upset or being more upset for someone than they are. Maybe there's something that's like not as big of a deal to someone else, but it's a big deal to you because again, it feels like whatever frustration or whatever really calls to your heart on the outside is what you need to begin putting into yourself on the inside. And with proper delegation of tasks, I feel like that's coming to the understanding that like there is that moment where it's like, oh, I helped someone that I care about, or I just helped somebody, I feel good. But then it's like it's again, it's that energy of like it's time to do it for you. Because you doing it for other people isn't gonna have that done for you. It's a very chironic energy. Feels like Chiron, where you can heal everyone else in this area, but it's like no matter how much you do for other people, it doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't do anything to reduce the impact of whatever it is that it feels like you're almost compensating for. Bringing order to thought. I feel like if you meditate or if you're mindful, if you're more present in the moment, however you get present in the moment, it feels like it just feels like you need to mentally slow down, honestly. And it feels like with this and proper delegation of tasks, it feels like maybe also you're taking responsibility for things that are not your responsibility, even if somebody else tried to make it your responsibility. Because it's like if you still your mind, it's like, wait, like I'm not responsible for this. Like this wasn't my fault. It's not my job to do this or to do that, especially in a space where either it's A, unappreciated, or B, where it doesn't do anything to stop reoccurrences from happening in the future. Right. Let's see what we got over here. Ooh, the anchor and the five of swords. Yeah. So the anchor is technically emperor energy, but I'm getting it literally as the anchor right now. And with the five of swords, it feels like you are someone else's anchor. And whenever you even think about doing something for you, whenever you even think about speaking up, it feels like a very chest constricted type of energy. Like there are lungs here and there's a heart here. The two of swords is piercing the lungs. So that's a space of indecision. It feels like indecision because it's like, I don't know how that person is going to accept this information. I don't know if I can do this or if I should, because if I say something, then it might whatever. And it feels almost like an anxiety attack or a panic attack when you go to speak, whatever this is. And then the Three of Swords is piercing the heart. Now, what's interesting is that the Three of Swords are also piercing the lungs. So two of the swords are piercing the lungs, sorry. One of these swords is only piercing the heart. Two of these swords only pierce the lungs. And two of these swords pierce both the heart and the lungs. So it feels like there's a lot of unspoken words, a lot of, because what is the Two of Swords? And look, there's two swords in the anchor too. So the Two of Swords is, you got the 2-2-2 of Swords, which is a Six of Swords, but this seventh sword piercing the heart stops it from happening. Some things just have to be spoken. Some things never get easier. Sometimes it's just like a band-aid and you have to rip it off. And it's like you have to care enough about yourself to be your own anchor. Because you can't anchor anybody else if you are the starfish that's blowing in the current, right? Like if there's a chain of people, like there's a starfish stuck to a rock, and then there are starfishes stuck to the starfish, stuck to the rock. You're the starfish stuck to the rock. Now, if you get swept off of the rock, everybody's gone, right? And it's like they should have been stuck to a rock instead of stuck to you. And again, it feels like something or someone is overly dependent on you, overly reliant on you for things that you can't give them. You can't fill a void in someone's heart. You can't replace what someone is missing. You can't make up for whatever it is that they never had. Especially if all of that, it's like things that you don't want to do and don't find any fulfillment in. Now, what you would find fulfillment in is helping someone that you care about, being there for someone that you care about. But again, I don't know. And that's kind of sort of been a theme for Virgo on and off. It's like, it's time to do the things for you. And I feel like you've begun to do that. But it's like, it's almost like it reaches a certain point where either you stop yourself because you're like, oh my gosh, like, what if I'm being too selfish because I want this? Or someone else kind of sort of comes in. But honestly, it mostly feels like at this point, it's all happening within self. And it feels like once you speak, then the curse is lifted. But with this Aries energy, you also have to, and with that Emperor energy, you have to be like resolved, right? This isn't like something that you say and it doesn't go well. And then you're like, oh my gosh, like, never mind. Or like, oh no, that's not what I meant. Like, I didn't mean it that way, even though you did. It's like this, it requires resolve. It requires you being resolute. And I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's easy. I don't know if it's going to get any easier. But what would make this a lot easier is, again, it's that self-love and it's caring enough about yourself to also hold weight, right? So it's not that like you don't care about anybody else, but when you also care about yourself, then it's like, okay, well, if I care about both of us, then it puts you in a space of finding like a truer compromise, right? Where you can make sure that both you and the other person is cared for, instead of that compromise where you sacrifice so that someone else or everyone else is cared for or taken care of or good. Okay, Virgo. Oh, snap. Bloomin' Rose. Hello, hello. How are you? How you doing today, Bloomin' Rose? I feel like there's like no resolution to these today, but it's fine. I haven't even said goodbye to anybody. Oh my gosh. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. Maybe I'll say it at the end for the final shuffle. Next is the Sovereign of Wands. Come through, Aries energy, wrapping up the fire signs. I see you. I see you. Aries 45:58. All right, all right. You're well. I'm glad to hear that you're well, Blooming Rose. I can actually read the chat today, so that's cool. I hope you have a time in these times. I know it's holiday season. I don't. It's a weird holiday season because we're probably not supposed to be traveling, and there's probably a lot of people who have lost someone. And people always lose people, but still, it doesn't make it any easier. Okay. Aries, let's get into this. Aries is sitting at Death and the Nine of Swords. Oh my gosh, there are roses here. I've never seen these roses. That's wild. What? Okay, so Aries is coming off of a Sagittarian energy. And it's funny because part of Sagittarian energy felt like it was linked to Leo. So I'm sensing some fire trine activity. If you're a fire sign with fire signs in your life, y'all may be able to help each other through the space of the things that you've learned. Potentially. The death card is about transformation. This is interesting because death rules Aries, right? Because death is Mars and Mars rules. Hold on, wait. No, the tower is Mars. Death is Aries, the sister of Aries, because Scorpio is death. Scorpio is Mars, Aries is Mars. So it's like the flip side of that coin. Now, with Aries typically being that emperor energy, Venus is Aries. Hey, mine too. I used to feel some type of way about my Venus and Aries, but I love it now. It can be a lot, but it's cute. It really balances me out. It completes that grand fire trine in my chart, so and it's my only like actual planet. So anyway, um, because Aries is typically the emperor, and the emperor is about protecting and it's about conserving. But death, death is about transforming things and allowing them to be what they are. Now, there's a rose in the death card, and there's a rose in this Nine of Swords that I've never seen. I've never seen the roses in the eyes of the skull in the Nine of Swords. Let's see if I can get y'all to see. Oh, wait. There. You see those roses? Look at that. What? And then there's also the rose at the top of this death card. There. Now there's two swords piercing each eye, two swords crossing the singular sword, and then two swords piercing the crown. But the two swords piercing the crown are actually behind the skull. I think if there's an Aries or someone in this Aries energy, blooming rose with all the roses that came out. Hey, look at that. Uh, it feels like there's a need to release control. It feels like Aries is releasing control, honestly. And so this Nine of Swords card, it's feeling like transitioning into the space of acceptance and of allowance, of receptivity, and of the release of resistance. Because things come to us through the path of least resistance. partially because that's the only way that we accept it, partially because that's the easiest way to get there. It's like lightning traveling through the body. It goes through the path of least resistance, and if the heart is on that path, then you might flatline. That's interesting. My brother told me he saw a video of a cow get struck by lightning. That was a few days ago, maybe a week ago. Maybe there's some Taurus energy in your chart or in your life. Maybe you were the Taurus energy. And it's time for you to get back to self. Now, Aries being in Taurian energy, to me, or maybe it's time to learn something from Taurian energy. Because I feel like Taurian energy could be that like work hard, play hard energy, but it's more seasonal. So it feels like there's a season of working hard and then there's a season of enjoyment. And so maybe it's time for Aries to work a little less hard because you've already done a lot of what it is that you. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait, is it on other cards? I've never noticed this path here before. There are like mountains and everything. It feels like a very underworld type of energy. But it's like, it's giving me like self value. It's giving me like Dante's Inferno type vibes though. That like you're going from the underworld to purgatory and then eventually you end up in the overworld. Um, but again, it's about releasing resistance and releasing control. It's about being open to traveling in the way that unfolds in front of you. And it's not that you have to see the way, especially when you're following, like love or whatever you believe in. There's a very like faithy, trusting, receptive energy here where you don't need to see the way. Better than you would have hoped, dreamed, or imagined, better than you could have created for yourself. And it feels very serendipitous. Because every pair of the Two of Swords here crosses something. Either it's a rose or the Ace of Swords. And it's the Ace of Swords that pierces the crown. The Ace of Swords is what sets you free from the Eight of Swords energy. So again, it feels like there was a period of like a lot and really trying to control, influence the way that things go. Because maybe you had a specific dream, goal, vision in mind. But what it was actually doing, it was like it was keeping you stuck in some way. And the Ace of Swords is coming to release that hold on you. And again, like even though this is the Nine of Swords, it doesn't feel like your stereotypical, typical, traditional Nine of Swords. It just feels like not being able to see the way forward. But again, trusting. And trusting isn't it doesn't mean that you're never like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? Like what am I gonna do? Like is something actually gonna happen? You're open to flowing with it, right? It doesn't necessarily say anything of doubt. I don't want to say doubt. It doesn't necessarily say anything of questioning. Because when you ask a question, you are assured and reassured. So, Aries, you have the Ace of Clubs, a strong will and an open heart, all things taken into account. 3, 8, 7, 2, 3, and 1. This is one of the few cards with all numbers that are single digits. And so I feel like, that's sort of getting back to the basics, that's learning the fundamentals. It's breaking things down into their primary components. Let's see, what are the energies here? Water, the sacral, the solar, the strength, Libra, and the Empress. So you got Libra and the Empress here. Speaking of Venus and Aries, because both of those are Venusian energies. The only way to be refined by fire is to have faith. Exactly. It's that like what was it? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they got thrown into the fire, but they weren't burned by it. And the fire that doesn't burn is like the flame of spirit or of the soul. All things taken into account, to me, that says that like there's been an understanding, or there is an understanding of the things that you need to take care of, right? Like, so if you're the type of person like, like trust and faith and manifesting and the law of attraction is all good, but I got bills to pay, I got mouths to feed, and ain't nothing in this world for free. And it's like, okay, well, all things taken into account, it's like, okay, we know that. Like, do you think spirit, the divine, doesn't know that you got bills to pay and that if you don't eat, you won't feel good? And the strong will and open heart, to me, it's like it's that courage to believe anyway. And this could be, honestly, you believing in yourself. Maybe this is you coming into an opportunity or recognizing something, receiving something, and believing in yourself and believing in your ability to carry it through, to realize, actualize the vision, or to, at the very least, find people that you can trust to take it forward for you, but still like include you on it, if that makes any sense. And so you're going to need the strength to believe in yourself, and you're going to have to be open enough to actually trust people, because when things reach a certain magnitude, they can't really be done alone. And I saw something yesterday that was like, there's no such thing as a self-made person. Like, we all have examples and we all have whatever. And even if your examples are examples of like what not to do and who not to be, that's still an example, because maybe if you didn't have that example, you would have been that, you would have done that, and you would have missed whatever it is that you aligned for. And again, it feels like Aries is coming into the understanding of that energy, because there's an understanding here of like subtle forces behind things, and they're trusting in that. Also, it feels like very, very heavy, significant, um, what's that? An ascension, evolution in the life of an Aries. Very good, very great energy. Love it. Next. Next is Aquarius, ruler of swords. Next up is Aqua. Aqua. Let's see what's up for the Aqua. Aquarius 58:25. All right, Aquarius. How's y'all doing? Let's see what's up. I know I got one Aquarius in the house. Hopefully. Ooh, okay. Oh, this is interesting. So Aquarius has the Tower and the Two of Swords. But this Tower, this feels like Aquarius or Aquarian energy is Sun and Moon. Oh my gosh. My best friend is an Aquarius, Moon and Rising. I cannot comprehend somebody who has like the same sun and moon. But that's a new moon. So you're like a new moon baby, which is cool. But I can't comprehend it, because like I'm a Pisces sun, Taurus moon. So when my moon is triggered, there's like a shift and a change in like who I am. And I'm already a Pisces, so I could be anybody. And so like when I go from Pisces to Taurus, it's like, oh snap. But if some like, because I have my best friend, he's like, you neither. He's a Libra moon and rising. And so when he gets upset, it's like this seamless transition. And it's not that I'm like wild or crazy, but when I get upset, like, you know it. Okay, well, sometimes people don't know when I'm upset. But anyway, when I reach that point, people know because there's a difference. And I guess they sextile. Well, not really, because my sun is early Pisces and my moon is late. Well, my sun sextiles on. Anyway, this isn't about me. Back to you, Aquarius. This energy, the Two of Swords in the Tower, it can be a little daunting, but it actually feels amazing. It feels amazing because the Tower in this deck, to me, it's an energy of growth. Now, what could not be so amazing is if you don't leave the Tower, all hell can break loose. Oh, well. Yeah, I've heard well, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. And Uranus is kind of sort of notorious for basically being a tower. So I see it. It's like we call in the meteorites from deep space down on here. It's time for another extinction event. Aquarius is calling down the stars. Okay. But with this tower and this Two of Swords, it feels like any pressure that you're feeling in life right now, it's probably because you're outgrowing whatever it is that you're in. And I love this Two of Swords because this Two of Swords, as I see it sometimes in some decks, it's portrayed this way. It's about trusting in the divine, right? Because the eyes are blindfolded, but that third eye is wide open. And the swords cross over the two moons of the high priestess, the high sage, are the high priest that we already saw before. Uh, Leo actually got the high sage, I believe, and Leo was first. One, two, three, four, five, six. Oh my gosh, Leo came out first. Aquarius is coming out halfway. Leo got the high sage. I'll show you. See, Leo got the high sage. You got the Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords is, for me, it's minor high priestess energy because, again, it's about trusting in the higher vision rather than the 3D vision. Now, a lot of times when we see it, it's like, oh, that's blindfolded. It's like being at a standstill. And it could be, but when you have the sight, then it's not. Anyway, so interesting with your Leonide buddies, Aquarius. I think Leo and Aquarius is maybe it's the mutable signs for sure because I read them so much. But it really feels like polarities or poles are collapsing, and it's really time for us to learn from our opposite energy. Like it's funny because I was talking about 2 months ago about how I don't have any Virgo in my chart, and Virgo is the last energy that I want to unlock in myself. I had the opportunity to do Leo and Sagittarius, my Chiron and my North Node this year for sure. And it was a build up to this year for sure, also. And then by the end of the year, it's like I'm doing all this sixth house stuff. So I don't have Virgo, but I have a sixth house, and my Jupiter is in my sixth house. It's in Libra, but and it's retrograde, but and now it's like I'm doing all these like day to day routine type things, especially with all the fire in your chart. Ooh, fire and air can be an explosive combination. Combustion reactions. Oh, I remember those. But that's what this feels like. It feels like outgrowing whatever this is. And it feels like there's also this energy about incorporating nature or more natural things in organized spaces. So it reminds me of it's like in congested areas, maybe New York. I've never been, and I can't like say for sure, but in my mind, it's reading New York, where it's like you have these cities that are like buildings, 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 very industrial, but they'll have like rooftop gardens or something like that. And so it's about finding places to incorporate nature into the more quote unquote man made world. Because for where we are, I don't think it's necessarily for us to completely abandon one for the other. And they can be integrated. And maybe that's what this Two of Swords is also about. Is trusting your intuition and your higher knowing to integrate things that may be causing a lot of tension, force, and pressure right now because it's almost like the overlap isn't seen. It feels like two things that a lot of people may say are mutually exclusive or naturally opposing, but they're not. Right? It's like just because you've never seen Batman and Bruce Wayne in the same room at the same time doesn't mean that Batman is Bruce Wayne or Bruce Wayne is Batman. Now he is, but it doesn't mean that because I've never seen Batman and Clark Kent in the same room at the same time. Is Clark Kent Batman? No, he's Superman, right? So the card y'all got, oh, the Joker, prophetic dreams, inspired action, tapping into the other side. Tapping into the other side, prophetic dreams, very much this energy. It feels like coming into heightened intuition that supersedes your understanding of the physical world, or it supersedes the direction that your life has been on, the things that you've experienced and what you know from those experiences. And maybe it could be like self-limitation, but it's like you're progressing past the point of everything that you had to experience in the past to reach where you are today. And so it's like you don't have to necessarily worry about things going the same way because you've grown, you've changed, you've evolved, and you've progressed. I feel like the things that you couldn't see before, you now see. And it's not that you see them necessarily with your 3D eyes. Again, it feels like this heightened intuition. It feels like it's just like a knowing, right? Because it's almost like a very shapeshiftery type of energy where, because usually it's like the things that we don't heal from, we end up repeating. But sorry, it feels like things that actually look different, right? Because like Aquarius, like you're smart. Like if it were as simple as, oh, like I didn't whatever, and then it ended up being the same thing. Like I feel like it wouldn't necessarily be that easy. And so maybe, again, either way, it feels like there's like this down the line, down the road type of energy. It's a sneak peek, it's a preview. And maybe it isn't for you to necessarily call somebody out or to be combative with this Two of Swords. Maybe there is a little bit of an energy of like, watch it play out. Or it's an energy to look back on past experiences with this new perspective. Because maybe you'll see something now that you didn't see then. Where while it all seemed different, there were certain subtle things that actually kind of sort of link them. But while you see that, it's not to then take that on as truth. Because again, it feels like things are in the space of change. And it's like once you see it, it disappears. It's like one of those types of energies. It's like once you see it, it's gone. And you don't have to worry about it anymore. The hardest part is seeing it. So next, and there is going to be the overall at the end where I say goodbye to everybody because usually I say goodbye to everybody, but today I forgot. Next is Taurus. Hey, more fixed signs from Aquarius to Taurus. So the last fixed one is Scorpio. Let's see where Scorpio comes out. Saturn is in Aquarius. Oh snap! Hold up, wait. I gotta go to Time Nomad. Let's see where it at. Saturn ain't in Aquarius. Hold up, wait. Well, it's 2959 and 4. Saturn might be in Aquarius. This is only one app. Maybe in some parts of the world it's in Aquarius. I just got a notification saying that Saturn. Well, I guess it didn't say Saturn was in Aquarius. It just says Saturn in Aquarius, structural change. But it does by tomorrow. It should be by the end of tomorrow. It should be in Aquarius, and then by the end of the 19th, Jupiter should be in Aquarius, and then they conjunct on the 21st or the 20th, somewhere around there. I don't know times. All right, Taurus. I got a little bit distracted. I got excited. Taurus, 1:10:10. All right, Taurus, let's see what's up with yous, guys. We're going to do minor and then major and then chord. 8 of Cups is coming out for Taurus. 8 of Cups is about walking away. There's an upward pointing triangle here that gives me like pyramid energy. What does Anuit Coeptus mean? I don't remember. Anuit might be year. What is Coeptus? Hey Siri, what does Anuit Coeptus mean?
Okay, I found this on the web for what the...
Unequivocal, girl. I know it's on the dollar bill. I'm pretty sure it's on the dollar bill where the little pyramid thing is with the eye on it. I took Latin in high school, but I don't remember. Anuit Coeptus. Anuit Coeptus is one of 2 mottos on the reverse side of the Great Seal of the United States. The literal translation is favors our undertakings, from Latin annuo and coeptum. So favors our undertakings. That's good, right? He, God, has approved our undertakings, motto on the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States. I don't know about that one, Taurus. I'll take the message of Anuit Coeptus because Anuit Coeptus fits with the Taurian energy that I've been reading lately, which is very like crocodile. It's about like sitting and not necessarily waiting, but it's kind of like storing up for winter. Even though it's not winter, it's like it's going to be a spring. It's a time for renewal and rejuvenation and for the end of hibernation. Now, the 8 of Cups, this is giving me a portal energy because of, the lines coming down off of the third eye. The third eye is in the sun. So I feel like, or in the star. So I feel like the clarity is there. Also, it gives me a moon energy because it looks a little cratered. And the 8 of Cups leads to the 9 of Cups. So this could be a portal that leads to what it is that, your heart's truest desires and things of that nature. But it requires movement. And it requires walking away from the past. Taurus can sometimes be creatures of habit. And then the major is the Ace of Wands. So this feels like inspiration, passion, drive, motivation in a way that Taurus may not have ever felt or may not have felt in a long time. Ace of Wands is spring, right? Aries, it's cardinal fire, comes in on the spring equinox. Yeah, I was like, it's an equinox or a solstice? It's an equinox. And just like the Ace of Cups, Cancer, cardinal water, summer, swords, Libra, fall, cardinal air, pentacles, Capricorn, earth. Winter starts when Capricorn season starts, in the space of that winter solstice. So here is that spring energy. Here is the thawing. Here is the melting. And then let's just get into this. The beginnings of self-realization, caring for one's mental space, preparing to welcome something big. Well, the beginnings of self-realization and preparing to welcome something big, that's what I was feeling. It's the Jack of Spades. Here, there's a temperance energy. There's the crown, the sacral air, and Taurus, interestingly enough. And let's see what this last one is, because I'm curious. It is the initiate of essences, which is the energy of the Page of Cups. And there's a Jack here, which is perfect. So there's a Page of Cups energy, which is symbolic of the element of water. And there's an Ace of Wands here that's symbolic of the element of fire. And then there's a Temperance here as well in this card. And so what this feels like is, it feels like, because as I said earlier, but if you didn't watch earlier because you're not a Taurus and you didn't click there until you clicked here, well, you probably saw it, Taurus, because I read you. And it was this energy of the pressure of Taurus is higher inside than it is outside. And so the internal of Taurus is beginning to spread out to the external instead of like the external spreading into the internal. Now, with this Eight of Cups and with this, like with water and temperance coming here, but fire coming out here, it feels like this energy of like, again, it's like your energy is being met outside of you. And so anything that you need will be fulfilled, especially as long as it's like you keep up your end of the bargain. As long as you're doing the things that you need to be doing to be whatever, caring for one's mental space, preparing to welcome something big. So as long as you're caring and preparing and doing all that kind of stuff, then it feels like the rest will come. Also, with the beginnings of self-realization, I feel like that just speaks to the journey that whatever Taurus I'm reading for is on. And that started, what, 2 times ago with the crocodile and the Knight of Swords. And then it carried over last time, and here it is again. And it's interesting because it feels like it's echoing some of what Leo is putting out, but it's like Leo is learning from Taurus how to do it. Now, what Taurus is going to be learning from Leo is how to have that presence, right? And it's presence in more than just like a Venusian way, because there's water and fire here. Honestly, with the Ace of Wands, it feels like the sky's the limit. The sky isn't even a limit. Like, there is no limit. Well, people say like shoot for the moon because if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Well, why not just shoot for a star? Hello, we don't play small over here. Dream big, go big. Do what you do, what you need to do. And Aquarius just got a similar message too. Well, similar in that it's like, was it Aquarius or was it before Aquarius? It was before Aquarius. And what was before Aquarius? Was it Aries? Yeah, it was Aries, about having faith. Now, Aquarius had a similar energy because Aquarius had that Nine of Swords, right? No, Aquarius, Aries had the Nine of Swords. Aquarius had the Two of Swords with that third eye, trusting in the divine. Now Taurus is here, hey, with another third eye. That's just like floating up in the sky. No head on this one. Um, but anyway, like that's the progression here, which is interesting because the only thing missing in that little quartet is Pisces, right? Between Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. Anyway, and it did feel like Aries was coming into a more Taurian space. Anyway, sorry. This feels like just new and it feels good. It feels like thawing. But again, like if you're a Taurus that's kind of sort of used to just getting your way or having the easy whatever, that may not necessarily be the case moving forward. It may require something out of you, but it feels like it's going to be things that you're glad and willing to give. Like it feels very fulfilling, very energizing and exciting. So that's what I got for Taurus. Now we're moving on to the next one. Pisces. Oh, snap. It's not. It is Capricorn. Well, now we're moving back from Aquarius. On the other side of Aquarius is Capricorn. Let's see. Capricorn, 1:19:50. All right, Cappies, let's see what's in here for you. I want to start with the major here. Capricorn, you are sitting at the sun. The sun is actually going to be in Capricorn not too long here, in not too long of a time. I like this energy for Capricorn because a lot of stuff has been happening in Capricorn. Pluto's been in Capricorn. Jupiter was in Capricorn, but Saturn was also in Capricorn as well as Pluto. And then when Mercury and the Sun was in Capricorn last year, and then when Venus went into Capricorn, every time the moon's been in Capricorn, like it is. No, the moon isn't. Wait, no, yeah, the moon is in Capricorn right now, I believe. Yeah, the moon is 26 degrees Capricorn, so the moon is between Pluto and Saturn slash Jupiter right now in Capricorn as December 16th when I'm recording this, 2020. Just feels like a lot has been happening. That's been probably intensive, but for very beneficial reasons by the end of it, if Capricorn can turn it into that. Now, Capricorn is the GOAT. Capricorn and Aries partially are the only two energies that can handle Three of Pentacles energy by themselves. Like usually the Three of Pentacles is a task that is so taxing that it requires teamwork and cooperation to come to a fruitful result. It's the mountain. It's a blockage. You got to have your repelling buddy, right? But goats can climb mountains. So a mountain to a goat is a plane to anybody else, right? What was the meme? Like they crave that salt or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, goats, they live on mountains. And so it feels like the energy of the goat at the top of the mountain. But for the goat to reach the top of the mountain, it had to leave the area that it was in. Because I don't think this goat was necessarily always on top of the mountain. And if this goat was on top of the mountain got higher. Just like Mount Everest, it's taller than it used to be, apparently. Which I guess makes sense somehow. I'm not too sure. But it's not for me to comprehend how the natural world works, right? And it feels like Capricorn is on top of it and is going to be getting the sun. Now, typically, when we go up mountains, it gets colder, even though we think it would get warmer because that's where the sun is. But that isn't usually the case. And so maybe the cold got to you at one point or another. Maybe you were starting to get a little doubtful. And again, I feel like it wasn't necessarily about whether or not you could overcome or accomplish whatever task was before you. Maybe it's like you were getting more and more isolated, or like you were kind of sort of freezing over a little bit. Maybe being a little less tolerant of things that you may have had a lot more tolerance for in the past, but that tolerance could have been rooted in not great things, right? Sometimes we have tolerance for things because we think it's what we deserve, or we think that we're obligated to put up with whatever, whenever, and that's not necessarily the case. Now let's see what your minor is. Capricorn, you's got the Seeker of Coins, which is Earth energy. Typically, this would be the element of Earth, just like the Ace of Wands would be the element of fire. But I'm not reading elements today. I'm only doing zodiacs. So the pages, the Seekers, came in the minors, and the Aces went in the majors. Now, Capricorn, I love this because integrating those lessons and that wisdom that you've been learning, whatever it is literally going to be the key to unlocking like a new set of experiences in life, right? There's the tooth, which symbolizes wisdom. You see it, there it is. The tooth that symbolizes wisdom, the key in that coin that symbolizes unlocking things, and then it's that ball of earth. It honestly feels like the ability to like really shape and mold your life in a lot of the ways that you want to, because again, it feels like when it comes to challenges or difficulty, it's not that you don't face them, but it's almost like in your energy to overcome them. And so when a mountain isn't a mountain to you, then what is it? It's like a plane to anybody else. Also, it feels like you're going to be having the home field advantage moving forward. because again, it feels like you've elevated yourself somehow on this mountain. Maybe you thought you were at the top before, or maybe you knew you weren't at the top before. But whatever, it feels like you've at least had the opportunity to put yourself on top of the mountain. And again, to actually feel warmed by the sun at the top of this mountain. It's like brighter days are ahead, but you are the key to that for you. And also, like, your cardinal earth, which is all about, like, I feel like cardinal earth is probably one of the hardest signs to be cardinal in, because a thought, a feeling, a desire, those they happen. Like, businesses don't just create themselves. Waterfalls don't just form. Mountains don't spring up overnight. It's like it takes work to shape earth. Lots of work. And you're cardinal earth. You had Saturn, your home planet, in your sign. Jupiter, not your home planet, in your sign. Pluto, transformation, in your sign. Now, Jupiter and Saturn are moving into Aquarius, so things are going to get a little bit easier there. And also, Aquarius is like your sister sign through Saturn's co-rulership of both Aquarius and Capricorn. And Aquarius is the heights, right? Maybe Aquarian energy is why you don't feel like cold at the top of this mountain. Now, the card that you're sitting at is the King of Hearts. A decision that once made cannot be rescinded. A wise king who settles an impossible dispute. And operating in divine order. Sorry. This is another one of those cards that has all single digit numbers. And I think Aries had one of those as well, which was about, it was like a return to basics. It was about starting at the foundation. I feel like for you, it's more about building on this foundation. It feels like Capricorn energy was able to get to the foundation without necessarily compromising the integrity of the structure above, right? So it feels like you could have had these realizations and these quote unquote tower moments without like an implosion or explosion, or without having to call in the demolition crew, or without everything just completely falling apart. Now, operating in divine order and this decision that once made cannot be rescinded. I feel like that's just the energy of like, it's either you being resolute in what it is that you're moving forward with, or, I mean, it feels like that. I don't remember what the or was. There's a crown energy here from the numbers that I can read. There's a crown energy here, and there's an energy of the lovers here. And it's interesting because the sun and the lovers are two cards that have tattooed hands in this deck. But in the sun card, they've come together. And the lovers, they're not. And so again, well, that's about making decisions. But with this, with these, and like this sort of like, sometimes people like meditate like that or whatever. There's this like internal clarity. There's this internal seeking that's happening. It's the seeker of coins. And I think that's the operating in divine order. It's making these choices and decisions that are aligned to higher things. And it's shifting that dynamic and that narrative of like, oh, it's lonely at the top, or you have to crawl your way to the top, or claw your way to the top, or you got to step on people until you get to the top, or like when you get to the top, everyone's going to use you, or blah blah blah, whatever. I feel like it's an energy of completely changing that narrative, or it could be for you if you want it to be. But I feel like it is going to require, oh, well, there it is right there. The wisdom, like I said, the wisdom is the key to moving forward. A wise king who settles an impossible dispute. Use that discernment, use that wisdom, and you should be fine. All right. All the best, Capricorn. What, the second sign I've said goodbye to? Next, we have the Conqueror of Swords, which is Gemini energy. Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. Let's see what's up for you. Okay. Gemini, 1:30:22. Oh, really? Wow. Okay, Gemini, that got like nothing. I'm like, hold up. You made the noise, but you didn't type. Hello? Gemini, 1:30:45. So maybe there's a 22-year-old Gemini out there that's feeling like they're 45 because I tried to give you the 22, but it did not work. No, being 45, that's like wisdom. With age comes the opportunity for maturity. I'm not going to say with age comes maturity because honestly, and this ain't necessarily related to you, Gemini, but when I got my first like professional job, like when I entered the workforce, now the department that I worked in was good, but it was like, it's so jarring and shocking being a young person going into, and there's a lot of young people that work, but it's like people were a lot more immature than I thought they would be. It was literally like petty high school, sometimes middle school drama. And I'm like, wow, like, is this what it means to be an adult? To still be a child? Like, I was like, okay, so yeah, no, high school never really ends, apparently. And so that's why I say it comes an opportunity for maturity. And so maybe that's related to an energy of like things that we attribute to other things because it's how we're honestly, it's how we're conditioned societally. When we're a child, we're told, oh, that's like an adult problem. Oh, that's an adult word. This is an adult thing. That's an adult thing. You can't say it because you're a kid. Oh, I know better because I'm an adult and you're dumb and stupid and you don't know anything because you're a kid and you haven't lived life. Like, you're not stressed. What do you know about stress? You're like 5, you're like 10. And it's kind of wild because we've all been children. And so it's like we should know by the time that we become adults that life still happens to children and children still experience like a pretty wide gamut and spectrum of life and life experiences. The only difference is they don't necessarily have the backlog backlog of experiences to put their then current experiences into the same grand perspective that we would get when we're older, right? And so when you're an adult and you look at a child, you're like, oh, you don't have anything to worry about because life can be so much more. But when that is their life, and that is the at the moment biggest thing that they've ever gone through, or biggest change or challenge or whatever, they're still waiting. There's still momentum in that. Momentum. Gravity. They're still waiting. There's still gravity in that. Like, it's still serious. It's like they're not yet developed enough to the point where they're equipped sometimes to handle the things that we put on children. Anyway, I don't have a child personally. Um, so, I'm just assuming that that's what it's like. Oh, okay. The Two of Cups and the Hierophant. Gemini, this is interesting energy. This is quite the change. I don't know what to say. I mean, this is looking real good for Geminis. I'm loving this. So there's that moon. This is the moon that I saw with Sagittarius, and I thought that it came out for Leo, but it actually came out before I started. It came out it was at the bottom of the deck. It was the Ten of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and then the Hierophant. And I was like, oh, snap. That's looking real good. And now Gemini is getting the Two of Cups with the Hierophant. I'm like, oh, snap. That's looking real good. Now there's 3 roses here and 2 cups. This is a very like bachelorette type of energy. So maybe there are options that you have in your life. There are some options that more align to you that you like can stand the test of time, that can go the distance. options that are worth investing in. And there may be other options that are okay, acceptable, good, even maybe great, even maybe, but they may not necessarily have this same sort of endurance and stamina that this one will. Now, there feels like an energy of heavy cooperation here as well. So if you have goals, dreams, or ambitions, this feels like a person, a job, an opportunity, a situation, or a sort of a set of circumstances that are mutually beneficial, right? It's like me pouring into you pours into me, and also you pour into me, which pours back into you, type of energy. And so it's very regenerative. It feels very regenerative. Now, this is not coming without harsh lessons, probably very, very hard lessons and very dark times, because there's the tooth here under the moon, and the tooth is above the key. And with the tooth being above the keys, it's like this is not unlocked, and both the keys and the cups are crossed. One has a sun energy, the other has a moon energy. Look at that. Gemini, Sagittarius, uh, eclipse. That's the axis that we're on right now. North node, Gemini, South node, Sagittarius. Anyway, it feels like this again. It's like it won't be unlocked until you've learned those lessons, because I feel like that's what the key in the teeth is. And it's interesting because who is this? Capricorn just got a key in a tooth. But again, for this non-Capricornian energy, it feels like something that there is a need, and it's not necessarily a need for somebody else, but it's like when one thing complements something else, it can make it better. It enhances flavors, it minimizes um, like undesired side effects and stuff like that, type of energy. And again, it's just like it's all around regenerative. And when you have a regenerative process, then you can run longer before you have to like shut down, and it minimizes costs. Doing, I've been wrapping things up in my personal life. And so regenerative processes is one of the things that I learned about. And it's like if you compare something, if you're heating or cooling something and you have something that is hot or cold, instead of spending money to heat or freeze, refrigerate, whatever that, you can use the hot thing to cool the cool thing, while also at the same time using the cool thing. You can use the hot thing to heat the cold thing, while also at the same time using the cold thing to cool the hot thing. And so it's about pairing these things up. And so we don't have to go outside of ourselves or go outside of the unit to get it. Now, since I did mention going outside of ourselves, then this could very much so be you and you type of energy. This is your light and your dark coming into unison, harmony, and balance. And your dark being the space of who you are, like behind closed doors, right? Because when you're outside, that's the sun. When you're at home, that's the moon. Now, are you a full moon at home where you're still getting, the image of the sun? Or are you a new moon at home where it's dark and it's completely different? Now, usually there's a key of silver and a key of gold, a key of the sun and a key of the moon. It's about bringing those two together. And that's what that's what Hierophant energy is all about, really. It's about bringing spiritual, etheric, energetic information in a way that it's like we can incorporate it into our daily lives, or it makes it easier to understand at the very least. It's like it makes it practical and understandable. And so there also comes a need for you to be practical within self. And then once you take care of whatever on the inside is up, then it feels like it'll attract on the outside. Because it's almost like if you're a new moon on the inside, then things can't find you in the dark. It's like a lighthouse, right? The ships don't know that the coast is there or whatever. if the lighthouse isn't on. And so it's like there's something that's trying to find you, but since the lighthouse light isn't on, it can't get to you because it can't see you. And you're like, oh, well, if it's for me, it'll find me in the daytime. And it's like, no, if it's for you, it'll be there in the day and in the night. And so if your nighttime ain't right time, if your nighttime ain't the right time, then it's going to be by time. I don't know. It's not going to stick around. And it's not that we always have to be perfect or whatever. But again, it's like we should have a certain handle on things within self. And that handle on things within self is going to be what unlocks this, because now it's light in the daytime and it's light at night, so they can find you instead of like trying to circle around and around. Like, it's supposed to be here on the map, it says it's here, and it says that there's a lighthouse here, so or it's like whenever you have a late flight or something and you're supposed to be meeting somebody and you're like, or they're picking you up from the airport, and you're like, you don't tell them. Oh, perfect example. Like, let's say you're like, oh, I'm coming in, like I arrive at 2 or 3, let's say 4. I arrive at 4, so make sure you're there because I'm going to be tired. And like, you're not necessarily clear, and so the person thinks you're going to arrive at 4 p.m., but you arrive at 4 a.m. and the person is asleep, so they're not answering their phone, and they don't get there until the morning type of energy. Again, it's like if that light isn't on at night, then it feels like they're going to be circling around. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, they're supposed to be here. Why aren't they here? And it's like, girl, if you don't leave your porch light on, how are the kids supposed to know that they can come get candy on Halloween? I don't know. I've never had trick or treaters. But I think it's like if your porch light is on, then you're open to giving kids candy, right? Trick or treat. If the light ain't on, don't come knocking on my door because you ain't getting nothing. I ate all the candy. I'm sorry. So Gemini is coming out with the 10 of Hearts, a stargate that leads to fantastic places. What's it say? Correcting what has been misused, stabilizing timelines. Ooh, this is heavy. Okay. So, a stargate that leads to fantastic places, correcting what has been misused, and stabilizing timelines. Maybe you've been misused. Ooh, or you've been misusing other people, which is not great either. That could be a space of, it could be a little bit manipulative because of things that are lacking within self. But again, it's like all the things that are lacking within self, you need to take care of. You need to have that moon full at night. You need to have the bulb in the lighthouse that ain't burned out, because it's not anyone else's job to do that for you. And no one else can mend and heal rifts in a heart or in a mind or in a soul, even. Like, that's a self thing. And we can band-aid to the point where when everything is good, everything is fine, and it's like, yes, everything's amazing, blah blah blah, whatever. But as soon as a tiny bit of misfortune happens, everything falls apart. Because when everything is good and when everything is fine and when it's daytime, of course you're not worrying about whether or not the ships can find you. Everybody can see in the daytime. A lot of people can see in the daytime, okay? But at night, then it's like, oh man, I forgot to call. I forgot to let them know that it was going to be 4 a.m. instead of 4 p.m. But now you're in the middle of the sky. They're asleep and there's no way to get a hold of them. You need to still be taking care of the things, even when things aren't falling apart, because that builds the foundation. That's the key of light and the key of night. There are so many typos in this card. There are like 3 cards in this deck that have typos. And I was gonna reprint them, but when I reprint these, I'm just gonna make new messages. So they're just gonna have typos. They're just gonna have typos. It's fine. Oh, I have time now. I can do that. I'm putting that's my next project. I did want to make a few decks with specific focuses and like have different backgrounds and stuff. Okay. That's cute. I'm gonna do that. Sorry. Back to you, Gemini. Um, but honestly, the energy here, it feels good. But the two biggest things are stabilizing this timeline and correcting what has been misused. Because the Stargate that leads to this new fantastic place or whatever, like it's just the portal, it's just the gateway, it's the ticket to get there. But it's like you can, like, everyone wants to go to Hollywood, right? It's like, girl, you should probably also want some money, or you should probably at least want a place to stay. You should probably also want some utilities. You should want some food, and to not just be in Hollywood, because there are a lot of people in the area that that unfortunately don't really have much, and it's almost like it's not like what good would it do for you to be there when you don't have anything, but it's like it's easier to prepare where it's easier to prepare. And sometimes it's easier to prepare for a situation before you're in that situation. Again, just because it's not nighttime right now doesn't mean that they're not going to need the night light, the full moon, the lighthouse later. You don't have to be there to begin preparing for it. And maybe that's something that Gemini can learn from Virgo a little bit. It's an energy of preparation. And that's interesting because that's related to what I told Gemini last time. I remember now. Because I was like, Gemini, it may be beneficial for you to like journal or something. Because it feels like if you could like keep a record, maybe you would begin to see patterns. You would begin to see something that repeats. It's like it would take your understanding even deeper. Now, Gemini isn't necessarily about deeper understandings. That's kind of sort of the realm of Sagittarius. But like I said, when I did Virgo, especially for mutable signs, maybe because I read them so much lately, it feels like an energy of collapsing poles and learning from your opposite energy the things that you need to learn to elevate you to move forward. And maybe even your like energy as well, right? Because they're squares, and squares are, well, one of them, too. One of them is a square, your like energy. The other one is the sister of your opposite energy. Learn from the other mutable signs because it's like they understand your modality and how you operate, but they're different enough that they have something to teach you, basically. And that's like everybody, right? So, like, if you're a Cancer, learn from, like, integrate more Capricorn and also learn from Aries and Libra. And then you can go by elements and whatever. Learn from everybody, basically. But anyway, it feels like there also needs to be some action here, and it needs to be consistent action, right? It's like we can't afford a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of situation anymore, especially if you're Mr. Hyde, like, or wait, especially if you're Dr. Jekyll every single night, because it's wintertime right now in the northern hemisphere, and if you're Dr. Jekyll at night, girl, that's 16 hours out of the day. It's like, okay, something needs to change. And again, it's easy when everything is good to put off or to not think about the things that it is that we don't think about. And it's not to say that we shouldn't enjoy those moments that are there for the enjoying. But again, there is an element of like some consistency that needs to be there from Virgo and some element of depth that you get from both Pisces and Sagittarius. But I feel like it needs to be more Sagittarian because it's like, and that's the thing. I feel like I rag on Sagittarius a lot, but I actually love Sagittarian energy because to me, it's like Sagittarius, especially like spiritual Sagittarian energy. I love it because it's like it puts it in a way that makes sense. right? Like, because my brain operates in metaphors. So I can come up with like so many different stories, so many different ways to say the thing, so many different metaphors, and it's helpful. But I feel like Sagittarius can get like right to the point. I'm like, oh, yes, love it. Anyway, there's something to learn from everybody. Beautiful things are ahead, but again, there needs to be some. There needs to be some consistency within yourself, and that's what I got for you, Gemini. Next is Scorpio. Scorpio. Who? Okay. Scorpio. Scorpio. Scorpio 1:50:52. Hey, Scorpio, and welcome to whatever this is. Welcome to whatever this is. Hey. I don't know why I think that's so funny. I think I know. Ooh, Scorpio is coming out with the Hermit. The Hermit and the Nine of Cups, Scorpio. Oh, Scorpio. Scorpio, Scorpio, wherefore art thou, Scorpio? Dost thy lie at the bottom of the mirror? Is it the girl? Here I am trying to be all what's his name? Shakespearean, and I can't even remember if it's the Marianas Trench. Girl, Scorpio's at the bottom of the ocean where can't nobody find Scorpio. But unlike previous times, it feels like Scorpio is in a space of illumination. Scorpio is either in this space of illumination, going to be in this space of illumination, or needs to be in this space of illumination. Because this hermit is taking a light into the dark. And it's interesting because Gemini kind of sort of just got a similar energy. The advice for Gemini was also, hey, maybe take a page or a note out of Virgo's notebook. Scorpio, it's the same for you. I mean, you sextile Virgo, so it shouldn't be too difficult for you. Virgo's purification, your transformation, you're basically the same. You're just uglier than Virgo. And it's not that you're uglier. It's although like you are like more mysterious than Virgo. Um you do it kind of sort of out in broad daylight. And Virgo kind of sort of does it behind closed doors. It's like Virgo is in the back doing exorcisms and projectile vomiting and stuff, but you know, you don't see that part. All we see is like, oh yeah, it's cool. Like I went to Virgo and it worked. It's like whenever someone like recommends a medicine to you or something, but either it tastes disgusting or it gives you like the runs, but nobody tells you that it gives you the runs and you don't find out until you take it. Then it's like, oh. Now with Scorpio, everybody knows, right? It's like castor oil, like ugh, or Epicac. Is that what it is? The ones that like make you throw up, basically. Virgo is the ones where it's like nobody knows until they get it, and it's like, oh gosh, this is terrible, but it works. Sorry. Anyway. That was a whole complete tangent. Um, this is taking a light down into the dark. And what it's doing is it's leading to the Nine of Cups. This is wish fulfillment. These are rose petals. Let's see. They love you, they love you not. 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 They love you. Ah, that's sweet. I counted all the little petals for you, Scorpio. Turns out they love you. Now, when I started, it was kind of a joke. By the end of it, I started to get nervous. Maybe you can resonate to that in some way, Scorpio. Maybe in the beginning it was cool, it was casual, it was fun, but towards the end it's like you start to realize and see the significance and the impact of what an opportunity like this would actually mean. Or it's like again, there's an energy of opportunity here. Now, it feels like the energy of an amazing opportunity here. And it also feels like the energy of an opportunity that could prey on or bring up or trigger some insecurities. And I think that's where this Hermit card comes into play. Now, this is like it's Scorpio putting a light in that lighthouse. It's Scorpio taking a camera with the light down to the bottom of the Marianas Trench, girl, where we can see all the stuff that lives down there. All those deep sea horrors, all of the things that have learned to grow and evolve without light because there is no light down there, but there's still life. And I think that's amazing in and of itself because so many times, and for good reason, it's like, well, without the sun, there would be no life. But there are places on Earth where there is no light and life still finds a way. So life wouldn't be what it is with the sun, but we can't say that life isn't down there. And I feel like whatever it is that you need to bring peace or resolve in your past or within self, it's almost this almost like the same thing, right? It's like it happened, it was there, it was your experience. Maybe there was or is some attachment there, and it's not necessarily to do things in a way that everyone necessarily would say that you have to do it. There's an energy here also of like making peace with the past to accept what's in the future. Now, there is a gamble here. There is a little bit of a gamble here because of the wishbone. And there's no guarantee that when you break the wishbone, you're going to get that longer side. Let's see. Can you see it? Where that wishbone is? Where is it? Oh, wait. Oh, it's in there. Okay. Maybe you can see the wishbone. Maybe you can't. Oh, there it is. There's a wishbone there. There's no guarantee that you're going to get the longer side, but it is. It's like it's not guaranteed unless you replace that light bulb, unless you bring light to that situation, because things have grown and evolved without light. But just because they've done that doesn't mean that they can't benefit from it. And evolution takes time and it takes patience. There's an energy here also of like it's not all at once. Where you are as you are enough. You're more than enough, actually. But it's like sometimes we have to be so much more than enough that we feel comfortable daring and dreaming and hoping, only to find out that we were way more than enough and way more than worthy, way more than deserving. You got the seven of spades taking the plunge. Speaking of being brave, taking the plunge into an ice cold tank, dissolution of the self, integration and separation. Now, this is about, this is kind of sort of that light in the dark type of energy. Because what this dissolution of the self does is it allows us to separate the things that are not us, the things that have become us, the things that were instilled in us from, like, it allows us to differentiate and to separate those things from each other, both on the light side and on the dark side. And on the light side, that's like, I'm strong, I'm resilient, I'm tough, I can do this, I can do that, and blah, blah, blah. And it's not that you're not those things. And it's not that you weren't supposed to learn to incorporate some of those things, but it's that you don't have to be those things. You don't have to be strong all the time. You can be vulnerable. You don't have to be tough all the time. You can say you need help. You don't have to be self sufficient. You can work with others. Like all these things that you had to become, all these things that gave you strength, you can let some of those go now because there's light in this space now, right? It's like very like anglerfish type of energy. And this isn't the first time I've gotten anglerfish energy, but it's like you had to evolve this way to be your own light and to have your own light in that space. And when you wear that light, it's like moths to a flame. You attracted all of these little fish, right? And maybe one day you got hungry and you ate one fish, and then you ate two fish. Shiz. one fish, two fish, red plus blue fish, right? So fish is the plural of fish, it's not fishes or fishies. But then it's like it works so well that now it's like you're using your light to eat smaller fish. Now, that could have been you, that could have been done to you. I feel like there's both because we learn and we pick things up. So maybe it was done to you, and then in retaliation and preservation, because that's the way that things were working, you kind of sort of learned to do it. Maybe not to the extent that others were, but again, with this dissolution of the self, you also need to be real honest with yourself about the part that you've played in your life and how you've approached relationships or partnerships or jobs or opportunity, connection, how you've approached connection, patterns and behaviors that you've picked up, methods of survival that you've picked up. And it's again, it's like letting go of the things that no longer serve a purpose that you don't need anymore. And just because like they don't serve a purpose now doesn't mean that they never served a purpose, right? That's not the case at all. Like I've had things that made me very strong in the past, but I reached a point where I didn't need it anymore. And I had to like release myself from that place and from that space. It was beautiful. I actually cried. I kind of didn't expect it. I didn't know that it held me back, I guess, as much as it did. But again, like it made me strong for a while, but I don't need it anymore. I have other things now. Slash, also, um, I'm older now. I'm more mature now. I have the capability to handle things that I couldn't handle when I was younger, when I had less life experience, when I knew less, when I was less healed, less evolved. I'm kidding. But that's this energy here. But it's also about picking up the light too and integrating and incorporating all of that. It's like you're trying to solve a puzzle, but it's like you're missing some pieces, and the pieces that are cut the same are from a different puzzle. So it's like you could either complete this puzzle with pieces from a different image, or you can complete the puzzle using only pieces from this image and have gaps in it. And it's like the solution. Now, everything is general, take it as it resonates. I don't believe in singular reasoning or in singular anything, really. But it's like in this case, it would be better to have an incomplete puzzle with all of the pieces that are you. Because what that does is it sets everything up to align in a way to attract in what is missing. But it can't come in if there's a piece already there, right? It's like holding on to something just for the sake of having it, even if you don't want it or even if it went bad. And it's interesting because I feel like that harkens back to Taurian energy in some way that it came to me and I literally almost immediately forgot it. Because Taurus got the card that was it was proper magnetism and something else. I'm pretty sure it was Taurus that got that card. And that's the energy that like you need to be in, Scorpio. Talking about collapsing poles and polarities. And it's that Venusian influence instead of that Mars influence. It's setting yourself up to attract and welcome in those things instead of always going out and getting it in these. I mean, when it's Scorpionic energy, it's subversive. And it's like reverse psychology and all this other kind of stuff to get what you want. It's not necessarily as outwardly aggressive and in your face and upfront or observable as Aries, but it's like the shadow side of Mars girl. So like she's still got it. But it's about again positioning yourself to welcome it in a Venusian way. Just like Taurus is going to be in this more Martian energy as they move forward. And Venus is going to be trining up Mars here. Venus is in Sagittarius now, so it's going to be happening at some point. I don't know when, but it will be happening. So next, we have the Conqueror of Cups, Pisces, and then the water signs right after Scorpio is Pisces. 8th house, 12th house energy. Boom, boom. Pisces 2:4:52. All right, Pisces, how y'all doing? Welcome in, Pisces. I'm a Pisces. You're a Pisces. You know a Pisces. You're just watching this. What's up with Pisces? Can I just... Okay, Pisces, I'm going to do something for you because I'm feeling this. Ooh, that got real loud real quick. I don't think I've ever heard it like that before. Let's talk about Neptune because I feel like Neptune gets a really, really bad rap about like, oh, it's illusions and it's delusions and it's 12th house, it's prisons, it's mental asylums, it's all of this stuff. And it's like, yeah, but girl, she's also like dreams. She's also like the good stuff. It's not just the bad stuff, and it's not always lost. Not all who wander or wonder. Not all who wander are lost. Wanderlust, girl, get into it. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it. Every time, it seems like every time someone brings up Neptune, they're like, oh, be careful of illusions, be careful of delusion, be careful of that it's just a fantasy, be careful that it'll evaporate, it's just a mirage, it's not real. And fair, be careful of those things. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't be, but also be open to the fact, or be open to all of the other energy that Neptune holds and possesses outside of just that. Okay, that's my little spiel, Pisces. Let's get into this. Pisces, you are coming out with the Pillar, Empress energy, and the Seeker of Wands. Oh, that's another fire energy. That's element of fire. That's really interesting. I've never seen the moon in this hat before. There's a moon in this hat on this coin attached to the laurel wreath. Scorpio got the star in the Hermit. You get the star filled in, or we can see it because it's not inside the lantern, honestly. And the pillar. I don't know if you can see that, but in Scorpio, it's inside for you. It's up there, which is interesting. So with the Page of Wands, I feel like Pisces, this is you maybe coming into a whole new world. Speaking of Neptune, we have phases of the moon. We have a doubled up downward pointing triangle, also with an upward pointing triangle. So that's like the element of earth and water. Also, the element of fire is here. Cycles of the moon, the rose, the star. Here's a faded moon. Threads coming from the hat. It's veiled energy. It's giving me like Empress of the Moon type of energy. The rabbits that live on the moon. There's the Tanabata. There's a festival where it's like the gods cross the stars to meet and to catch up like once a year. So there's an energy here of alignment. And I feel like either it's time for Pisces to remove the veil, or Pisces is going to be like taking on a veil type of energy, but in a way where the wand is here. So there is light, there is sight here, and the star is here too. And it's all love centric. So if you're not connected to that energy of love, then I don't know what to tell you. I might not be reading for you. Anyway, because the rose is front and center, the rose is also on the death card in a very similar, depicted in a very similar way. And Aries got that, I believe. The first and the last, Pisces and Aries, Aries and Pisces. The pillar. Now, who got the anchor? Virgo got the anchor, I think. Because I remember saying, this is you being the anchor. I think it was Virgo that got the anchor. Or it could have been Aries. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Check those out, I guess, if you feel so called to. But the pillar is the energy of the Empress. And so that's about creating. And we're creating with the moon. We're creating with these higher intentions. We're creating from beyond the veil, cooperating maybe even. And there's a clarity here. So I guess there's also a need to be clear on your intentions because you don't want to manifest sloppy. And it's not that manifesting sloppy is necessarily a bad thing, necessarily. But it's like, if you're trying to talk to someone who speaks a language that you have a certain like rudimentary understanding of, and they know that you're going to make some mistakes when you speak. And so it's not to necessarily be perfect, but what we're communicating is intention, and intention is communicated beyond words, which is why I personally, within my own belief structure, like, I know that words hold power. I believe that words hold power, but I'm not the type of person that is going to dig into the etymology of every single word to be like, oh, this word is based in this and it's rooted in that. Because to me, it reads like constantly. It's like it just feels like we're constantly finding a way to give something or somebody power over us. They're getting us in this way. They're getting us in that way. Nothing is safe. The food ain't safe. The air ain't safe. The water ain't safe. It's like, girl, well, what do we got? Because I got to eat something and I got to drink something. And even if I grow my own whatever, where is that water coming from? Is the ground poisoned because of all the radioactive waste that we've buried underground? I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not, because maybe there's something there. But again, it's like it's time to stop like constantly giving our power away to things and finding things to give our power away to. And I'm not saying that that stuff is untrue at all. But I'm saying that, like, I'm not gonna be out here just looking for boogeymen either. And when you get to a certain level, or in some ways, it's like the light that you carry is stronger than the darkness outside of you. And when you lead with light, then that's when like the veil falls from this hat, and it can be a veil of protection. And it's not protection in a way that is necessarily like iron tight, because I think we still need to have some element of vulnerability here, because things don't grow in dry, cracked earth with this pillar empress energy, right? Vulnerability is necessary. The seed has to penetrate the ground. Water has to be able to travel through the ground, has to penetrate the roots. Air has to penetrate the leaves. It's like nothing grows in isolation. There's also a letter here, which I've never noticed until now. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to leave this here. This is something that I'm not going to dig too deep into, because to me, this feels like something that Piscean energy needs to discover for themselves. And it also feels like with this Seeker of Wands, it feels like one of those things that's best learned through experience, right? Like, it's easier to learn something when you're immersed in it rather than when you're isolated from it, because it's hard to grow things in isolation. Now, some things will grow in isolation, like mold and, funguses and things that people typically don't want. There's a diamond here. And so it's reading as very like Merkaba, but it's not in place yet. Okay. Because it feels like there's still more to integrate. It feels like the disc tray has popped out. This is the disc tray. Oh, look, there's even a circle. So it feels like the disc tray has popped out. We put the sun in there, and then we put it in. So like this drops back down, and when it drops down, it more closely completes that like Merkaba Merkaba shape, where it's like less of an elongated diamond and more of like nested triangles, right? So this is a new program being loaded. And it's almost like with this Page of Wands, again, operating from beyond the veil or whatever, in conjunction and cooperation with the veil. I feel like the information is there, but the words aren't. So again, I mean, I already said I'm just going to leave this because I don't feel it's for me to say necessarily. But let's get into this. Let's see what this is. It's the Eight of Diamonds. The Eight of Diamonds, last time I used these, this card was featured. A complete set of instructions, a stubborn moth reborn as a firefly, and a successful trip. That's what this is. That's this energy of the letter that I was getting. That's the complete set of instructions. And it's like, did you read the letter? And it's like, no. It's like, I told you to read the letter. Why did you not read the letter? Had you read the letter, you would know. I just watched a movie last night. Had she read the letter when she got the letter, it would have saved her a lot of hassle. And maybe saved lives, potentially. Would have potentially saved lives. But she didn't read the letter until literally the end of the movie, when she didn't even need it anymore because life had told her everything that was written in the letter. But the stubborn moth reborn as a firefly, to me, with the Seeker of Wands, which is a page energy, means that some of it is to be explored, is to be experienced. Like I said, some things are better learned through experience. And not necessarily in a trial by fire type of way, but kind of in a trial by fire way. And then we discover that a lot of what we needed, we already had, right? I talk about Dorothy all the time. She gets to the end of the movie, girl. She met Glinda, beginning of the movie. Glinda waits until the end of the movie to be like, oh, Dorothy, girl, like if you wanted to go home, you could have done that. All you gotta do is click those heels together 3 times. The heels that I gave you in the beginning of the movie, girl, the heels that I told you to take off the feet of the Wicked Witch in the beginning of the movie, girl, like, yeah, click those. I could have told you a long time ago, but you didn't ask. You have not because you ask not. It's very much, sometimes it can be very much that, like, why didn't you tell me this? It's like, oh, well, you never asked. But you knew like, you knew why I was going to see the wizard, though. See, but what Glinda wanted Dorothy to do was take care of that other Wicked Witch before she went home. So Glinda could be the only, so there would only be good witches in Oz, since the 2 wicked ones were out of the way. Maybe not. Maybe Glinda didn't have an agenda. Anyway, this ain't what that's about. Because again, as I said before, it's about not continuously and constantly looking for things to give pieces and fragments of our power to. And they're like, well, maybe Glinda had an agenda. I'm like, girl, I don't know. Okay. Is this the last one? Yes, last but not least, we have the Sovereign of Swords, Libra. Libra, Libra, Libra. Arc is live! Arc, 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 arc. Sorry. I'm sorry. Libra 2:18:49. Libra, last but not least. Sweet, sweet Libra. Cardinal Libra coming at the tail end. Opposite of Aries Libra. Hold up, wait. Hold up. No, it was Aquarius and Leo. Okay. Hold up, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 and 12 is Taurus and Libra. And then Aquarius, 6 and 12 is Aquarius and Libra. So there's a trine and co-rulership. All right, Libra, let's get into this. Let's just get right into it. You're coming out with the 7 of Cups and the Ace of Cups. So that makes 8 cups. Or it could be 6 cups, depending on how you look at it. I'm looking at it two ways because we have the Ace of Cups, but in the Seven of Cups, there is the seventh cup like stands alone, like above the other ones or outside of those. So it could be the Eight of Cups, could be the Six of Cups. There's a tooth there. Teeth are about wisdom. So this Seven of Cups is about seeing, gaining the wisdom from past experiences so that we're not constantly, or so that we don't continue to choose things that don't serve us. And then the ways that our vision was restricted in the past with this third eye and the thorns, once we learn from those experiences with that tooth, it frees us up to move forward in a way that's a lot more innocent, swift, and carefree. Now, innocence isn't naivety. It's not naivete. Innocence, it's like it's a release of baggage and it's a release of expectation. When we're innocent, when we're young, we don't have anything to compare anything to. So we experience everything fully and for the first time. After that, we start comparing one experience to another. And comparisons are fine, but they're also relative. And so it's almost like it puts us in a position to continue to experience the same things because we expect the same things. Now, for Libran energy, I think that can be a bit of a challenge because it is about balance. And sometimes it's about the balance that you learn rather than balance in like the rawest, most primordial sense of the word balance. Okay. I don't know where this is going, Libra. I feel like this one is like really quiet. You have the Six of Hearts. Okay, so it is the Six of Cups. Six of Hearts, Six of Cups. So that's 7 plus 1 is 8. This is 14, which is the Temperance of Hearts, I guess, or the King of Hearts. Maximizing or minimizing, limitation or support, look to the root. So that's why I feel like this is very variable. This card, like things can literally go either way. And we can determine the way that things go based off of not past experiences, but based off of where we are, I guess, in life and what we take responsibility and accountability for and what we don't. Because it's like if we're in this energy of being dismissive, then we may end up on the minimizing and limitation side. Because it's like when we had an opportunity to speak up or say something or do something, we didn't. And since we didn't then, now we have to deal with this while it's a greater issue now. And a lot of times when we're confronted with something, a very human thing to do is to like pretend like it's not real, pretend like it doesn't exist, pretend like it's a Neptunian illusion. It's an illusion, it's not real. Girl, it's real. The illusion is the fake la la imaginary land you're living in when you where you can't see that this is an actual problem and it's happening. And again, back in the day, I was like, it feels like the veil is being lifted. And a lot of us, some of us are like purposefully and intentionally lowering the veil, reveiling, triple reinforcing the veil so that we don't have to see what it is that we need to see. Now, every action has a reaction and every choice is honored. And so if we choose to live in ignorance, then basically we give those things permission to happen unsupervised. And if we ever end up in a situation where we fall victim to what it is that we dismissed, then it's like at that moment it's too late. It's too late to say it's an issue or it's a problem when it comes for you. And it's like by the end of the day, like anyone who could care, they're already gone because you were silent. You let that go. But when it's you, all of a sudden you expect for other people to care, but you didn't have that kindness or compassion within you to do it for others. And so there's also a question of what we expect from others, but that we don't give in return. And if we're talking about justice, if we're talking about fairness, and if we're talking about balance, then it the world's responsibility to care for you when you didn't care for the world? Is it anyone's responsibility to do for you when you didn't do for them? It's like you had an opportunity to take charge, but you did that anti-Aries thing, or that antipolar, whatever, opposite pole of Aries thing. You did the opposite Aries thing instead of anti-Aries. You did the opposite Aries thing and you took a back seat. You just let it happen when you had the opportunity to take charge. So that's what look to the root means. Look to the root means in some ways it's already set in motion. This plant is what this plant is. You should have looked at the seed packet before you decided to plant it, or you should have asked before you put it in the ground. Because I don't, it's like it's not going to change. It's not that it can't change, right? I'm not going to say magic isn't real, but it's that it probably won't because your choices are honored. You planted this seed. This is a plant. You reap what you sow. You had an opportunity to sow better seeds. You had an opportunity to pull the plant up before it became this infestation problem. Now, on the maximizing side of this, if you did those things, if you recentered, regrounded, rebalanced, if you allowed your definition of justice to expand, to incorporate more of what happens outside of the realm of your personal experiences, then I feel like you're going to end up on the maximizing side, right? It's like growth begets growth and stagnation begets stagnation. Avoidance begets like the shadowy type of energy, and addressing begets light energy. That was interesting for Libra. I don't know why all that's coming out on Libra. Maybe it's because you're justice. Maybe this is for the energy of justice in general. But I think that's what this Ace of Cups and that's what the Seven of Cups is. Because again, even in this, the seventh cup is above, it's separated from the others. It stands on top of that tooth. It stands on top of wisdom. The other ones stand on the ground. It's like there's nothing that elevates that backs them up. It's almost like they're baseless. And this Ace of Cups with the wings and everything else, again, this one, it's floating over the palm of this hand. It's another cup that is not on the ground. And so it's not based in, rooted in your singular experiences necessarily. This is a collective effort. And what have you done to benefit, to serve, to pour back into, to grow, to care for something or someone that isn't you? If you pour it in, you're going to get back. If you turned your back, you may get that back. I want to see what's before and after justice. So we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Fool. Then I'm also going to see what's before and after the Page of Swords, Seeker of Swords, Seeker of Cups. I don't think I got it already. Okay. So it's the Six of Swords, Six of Wands. Okay. I was like, oh, maybe it's the Six of Cups again. It's the Six of Swords and the Four of Coins. So that's isolation and transition. And then we have the Fool and the Wheel of Fortune here. Now, the Fool in this deck has horns, so that's a cardinal energy, Aries or Capricorn. And there's a moon here as well. Now, a lot of times we see the moon in this deck, it's pointed upwards. This one is downwards. So it's like one of these, again, is advancing the self, and that's the same side that the Four of Pentacles came out on, right? Four of Coins, it's the self, with the fallen roses, with the dying petals, everything twisted up, tied up, mangled up here. And on the other side is the Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Swords. So I feel like that's what I don't know. It's like, it's not fair to expect things from people that you wouldn't be willing to do. And maybe there are things that you kind of sort of vision. It's like when you look at it, you see yourself doing more than what it is that you actually do. But again, that could be on the maximizing side, right? And so if you are someone or a Libran energy that's been selfless, that's been caring, and that's been there for people in their hour of need, then when you are in a time of need, then you will find that return to you. And it feels like we're honestly kind of sort of coming into an energy where we have to learn our lessons, where we're learning our lessons. For a long time, maybe we could get away with not, but that time has passed. Because what happens is stagnation. We don't learn, we don't grow. We think that certain things that aren't right are acceptable because there's no punishment. And you shouldn't need the law to tell you that something is bad to not do it, or like you shouldn't need to be personally affected by something to care that other people are. And if that's the case, then you may have to learn to do otherwise. Because, I mean, with the energy of justice, it's pretty cut and dry. And the energy of like fair justice, again, it's like if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. You're not gonna cry your way out of this one or whatever. Like with that look to the root, it feels like whatever it is has already been set in motion. Now, if you do find yourself in a place of, I don't want to say compromise, but in a not great space, then I guess you could maybe get out early on good behavior, right? Because the purpose, even though it isn't really, is like rehabilitation. So once you learn it, you're free from it. So, the faster you learn it and actually learn it, the quicker you get out. If you never see it, then that's kind of sort of how we ended up in this mess globally in the first place. Okay. I'm mixing these back up because we're going to get the final message out of these. I guess I'll timestamp it here. That's enough. Some of those were all over the board. Well, but Saturn going into Aquarius, it's going to be trining up Libra. So, and Jupiter likes being in Libra, I think, or Saturn likes being in Libra. One of those likes being in Libra. Either way, they're both going to have like trined up energy. A candle burning on both ends, inversion, a revelation of self, accountability, a full recognition of self that has yet to be realized, being spread into action, and aligning the bodies. So there's an energy here of reciprocity, even in ways that you may not necessarily see. And there's a need to be accountable, because when you are accountable, it puts you in an energy, again, to like make actual significant changes. It's almost like rehabilitation is the theme. Is that Earth? Are we all in rehabilitation? We're all being rehabilitated. Anyway. And nothing is necessarily ever quite a product of the times. Because even in past times, there were still people who knew that wrong was wrong. There were just a lot more people who were willing to accept it. Maybe because they benefited. Maybe because they didn't care. Maybe because they weren't personally affected. All right, last card is rearrangement and coagulation. Seeing the truth of the self, distorted creations abound. Well, cleaning that up. Inspiring others by bold example, proper magnetism and clear intention, clearing of the fog, King of Spades, Eight of Spades, King of Swords, Eight of Swords. It's seeing it. It's like, oh, like I did that? Like that's real? It's like, yeah, girl. Okay. All right. Oh, I need to put this stuff in here. So let's get into the final. I need to do another one of these because some of that was, I'm like, oh, let's get that out of here. Come on, Sometimes it really do it, sometimes it don't. All right, let's get into the final messages. I'm always on here for some reason, I think. Final messages 2:36:55. So let's see what this is all about, shall we? I kind of want to do one of these first, and then we'll end up on one of these. So, final message from the Diceology cards. We get the Black Joker, prophetic dreams, inspired action, and tapping into the other side. 89, 2, 3, 6, 3, and 1. Bottom of the deck is the Ace of Clubs, a strong will and an open heart, all things taken into account. Inspired action and a strong will, prophetic dreams and an open heart, tapping into the other side, and all things taken into account. It feels like it's a lot more, things are a lot more fair than we may realize. And if the purpose of things is to rehabilitate and to teach instead of to punish, we can see how things are different because the energy is different. It speaks intention. And so what is this? The Magi, the Magician. There's a candle, a wand, and a sword. There's the cup. Where's the element of earth in this card? We see the sword for air, the wand for fire, the cup for water, and I guess the candle is the element of earth. This one looks like a stick of dynamite, though. Honestly, it looks like the stick of dynamite is like being dropped into the cup, and glass is about to go everywhere. Floodgates are about to be unleashed. Things are about to change. With the Hierophant under that, I feel like that's a rewriting of systems. Then again, it's like when the purpose is to teach and to rehabilitate, it's different than it is to punish. Because when you learn, you let go. It's like punishment is a time sentence. Rehabilitation is a growth sentence. It's a character sentence. And so the time is the time. 5 years is 5 years. But if you're here until you learn the lesson, then that could be as long as 5 days, 5 hours, 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 5 years, 5 decades, 5 centuries, 5 millennia. right? And that's the thing about divine timing as well. Sometimes it's not about a matter of time, it's a matter of growth and progression. So, what is life trying to teach you? That's the question. Okay. Final call, please. It's the title card. It's the card that I literally just put right back in the deck. Title card is my shut up card. Title card is like my high priestess card, but on steroids, kind of. It's like a juiced up high priestess type of energy. Bottom of the deck is the moon. It's the moon. Look at that. The moon at the bottom of the deck. With this card coming out up top. Yeah, that's I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna put these away. What is the title card? The title card for me, because like whenever I see the high priestess, a lot of times to me it reads as an energy of like we already know whatever it is that like it's my like, oh, you already know type of card. You may not want to accept it, but you know it on some level. The moon is unknown, intuition, and unconscious. The moon has always represented the unknown feelings, and the unconscious self. There is mystery awaiting you, and this card is encouraging you to embrace that within yourself. When we work with all the hidden aspects of ourselves, it can be unnerving and we may feel out of control. Now is a good time to surrender to the ride. More will be revealed and illuminated, but you cannot rush it, just as you cannot rush the moon becoming full. This card encourages you to rely on your intuition and the unseen forces present in your life. Deepen your practice in the ways that feel good. This card is a reassuring sign of the positive changes that will come from your effort. And that's it. That's it. I feel like that, yeah. And then I feel like then the title card is just like it's almost the energy of like there's no use in even trying to predict what is going to happen because you're not. It's just like kind of sort of prepare yourself for anything. I'm also going to pull one energy oracle card because I'm feeling it. I love the energy oracle cards, and like I said, I'm feeling it. I don't know. Let's see if I can get it up. Oh gosh, I've been doing too much for too long, and my brain is still recovering. So, shout out to the brain for working. Shout out to the me for working. Shout out to the divine for letting me know when I need to rest. Everything works out in time. Even when we feel that we may not have enough, or, oh, look, the temple path, everything works out in time. Even when we feel that we may not have enough or that we're running short, it's still important, yin yang, to take heed, I guess. Ooh, the man holding a heart and a broken heart. Interesting. Okay. I don't know why I want to pull one of these. I just do. Is the goddess in the moon going to come out? I'm just going to keep going until one comes out. That's a lot. Oh, I'll take them. Man. So we're starting with the man holding a heart. Then we go into the thinking man. And then we have the door to romance, the man holding a coin. So that's all the men. Rest and rejuvenation, journey, first chakra, Archangel Michael, and then magician in the mirror, as well as the goddess in the moon. Okay, that's the one I was looking for. So I'm actually going to read every single one of these in the book upright and the affirmation, and then I'm going to be done. We saw the man holding a heart, the man holding a coin, and the thinking man, and the door to romance, and the journey. We saw Michael. We saw the goddess in the moon, the magician in the mirror. Interesting, 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 interesting. I think I'm gonna go on the other channel after this. I've been really wanting to do the spread that I built last time, just to see if I can take it a little deeper because it presented such an interesting opportunity, I guess. Oh, this is the wrong book, girl. Excuse me. I need the energy oracle cards. Suddenly hot, suddenly cool, suddenly a genius, suddenly a fool. Okay, so the man holding a heart. This is a male dealing with family, love, or emotions. Upright, this tender man sits with flowers all around, holding a heart in his hand. For a man, this signals a greater clarity about emotions and their purpose in your life. There could be a more balanced approach to family and love at this time, even if these have been confusing experiences for you in the past. For some, this card upright could signal the presence of a new man in your life, one who tends to be more thoughtful and aware. Whether or not this man is a love interest or a friend, he brings a high intention to help where personal projects, family, or home issues are concerned. Affirmation here is I am comfortable with all of my emotions. I honor and express them in appropriate ways. I feel peace. Well, this is definitely an emperor energy coming because there's a man, there's no emperor in this deck, but there's a thinking man. There's a man holding a coin and a man holding a heart, and they all came out around the door to romance. But I guess we don't get that man holding a coin until we get past that door to romance. So that could be the space of like joint projects or joint wealth or whatever, connected to purpose or whatever. 46, the thinking man, from 45 to 46. Look at that. In his feelings and in his head. This is a male of wisdom or understanding. This card shows a man standing before an archway, gazing at a crystal in his hand. He is a thoughtful and reflective man, representing the potential presence of a teacher in your life, now or about to arrive soon. This person may be there to educate you in the finer details of your chosen direction, or may be there to assist you in some specific spiritual, mental, or emotional pursuits. The card is telling you to pay attention, for this could lead to great strides in personal or professional growth. This man may also be a love interest coming your way, or perhaps just a new male friend. But be on the lookout for this guide in the physical world and be open to his information. Learn what you can. A new discipline, technique, course of study, or healing practice could change your life forever. I am willing to listen. I guess that too. I am willing to learn new things. It is safe and comfortable for me to open up and share, is the affirmation. Next is the door to romance, number 33. Oh, I literally clicked right to it. Did y'all see that? I clicked right to the door to romance. And all I have at the bottom is like those pictures. It could be anywhere in there. I went right to it. A new beginnings in love. Whether you're looking for a new relationship or just more love in the relationship you're in, this door with a heart opens onto a new beginning in your experience. A new love may be arriving, and you are being brought together by a strong resonant connection. This may be a call from a past life, or it may be a new tenderness about to bloom into heartfelt affection. This relationship already exists in energetic potential. So when this card appears in your spread, make sure you are projecting the kind of self loving energy that you want to receive from others. Be aware that the universe returns your self caring treatment to you. Is it ready to open that door? Are you? The affirmation here is as I open the door to my own self love, I attract more and more loving tenderness to me. The man holding a coin, 43. Oh, I went back to the man holding a heart. That was close, though. That was close. The man holding a coin is male connection in money, health, or value. This card shows a man sitting in a lushly flowering field. I was like, lushly, is that a word? In a lushly flowering field holding a large, bright coin. For men, this could indicate an aspect of yourself and a readiness to further your goals and receive increased health, money, or value in your life. Greater success is on its way when you take control of your own finances and act. This card upright could also reveal the assistance of a financial advisor or healer whom you already know or are soon to meet. This man is helpful and may bring sage advice concerning the action you need to take next. Be open to this person showing up with support, but always turn to your own intuitive guidance to weigh the information you receive. This could also signify a new love interest with a wealthy man or a man from work. The affirmation here is I determine my own destiny. I take financial action and am receiving wonderful assistance from those around me. Next is number 19, rest and rejuvenation. I went to 11, cornucopia. There's that abundance coming after the man holding a coin, though. So this is relaxation and meditation. This card shows a man in a meditative and tranquil state. The message here is that it's time to relax. You have been busy lately, girl. Haven't I? I'm sorry. But you should soon be finding more time to just let go. When you do, allow yourself to go within and open up to the peace and wisdom that are vibrating there. This card upright indicates that there should be more leisure time for you now and more of an opportunity to engage in peaceful thinking. So make it a priority. Your connection to spirit brings great assistance, but it can only be achieved through regular relaxation and meditation. Now is a great time to make sure you insert this gentle activity into your daily life. In many ways, this is far more productive than an unceasing action. Affirmation here is I make relaxation a part of my daily life. Peace and quiet bring me clarity and joy. Next is Michael, right? Nope. Next is Journey, number 2. Oh, my mama just went live. Where I been? Journey is movement, relocation, and travel. Pack your bags. The journey card foretells upcoming travel or a shift in location. It may be as simple as a vacation, a retreat or class, or even a work trip. This card could also signal a move of residence or a job relocation. The upright position indicates that the plan should go off without a hitch. Still, be clear about your motivations and mindful of logistics. All of life is a journey, and this card is telling you that you have some exciting and inspiring adventures ahead. Affirmation here is I am attracting wonderful new adventures to me. My life is a blessing, taking me to new places inside and out. Next is Michael. Archangel Michael, first chakra, the root. 35. Let's see what this one is about. There's 31. What's 31? 31 is the door to value. Self value. When you value self, you find others that value and things that honor that value as well. So, this is stability and security. Michael holds a beautiful globe of red energy at the first chakra, which is located at the base of the spine. This is a place where your sense of stability and security is stored. When this card is upright, it reveals that your energy is flowing freely regarding these issues. Even if you've had problems with feeling secure in the past, these challenges are beginning to be resolved at this time. Archangel Michael is with you, bringing you strength and personal stability. You are capable of taking action and moving forward on your path, so allow yourself to feel increasing faith in your own power and security now and always. Affirmation here is my first chakra is open to its perfect, healthy state. I am strong, stable, safe, and secure. The Archangel Michael guides and supports me always. Next is the Magician in the Mirror. Number 53. I believe that's the last one in this deck. I'm pretty sure it is. So why didn't I go to the last page? Because there's something after it, right? Yeah, there's a few pages after. That page was blank, see? It's about the author, about the artist. Okay. Magician in the mirror. This is knowing and using your true power. This card upright represents the culmination of your personal and spiritual power at this time. In the magician's left hand, which is interesting because the magician was at the bottom of the deck and I read that, and that was one of the majors that we didn't see. We saw 12 of the 22 majors. Sorry. In the magician's left hand is the flame of passion and action. In his right hand is a vortex of water in the light of reflection. This highly beneficial card is telling you that you are the magician, and within your grasp are the amazing forces of earth and spirit. The water is the energy of yin, the power of spirit and clarity of thought. The flame is the energy of yang, bringing direction and creativity. Together they give you the magnificent magic of transformation. The mirror stands beside the magician, reflecting the outer world's response to your choice to use or dismiss the true power that you have. Its silver reflection reveals the future in a mist on the horizon, ready to be magically formed. When you receive the magician upright, you are put on notice that an important and powerful time is at hand. You are the alchemist of your life, and just as an alchemist turns base metals into gold, you are now able to transform your difficulties into great blessings. This is true in every area of your life. Claim your power and embrace your intentions in your heart and in your daily life. Direct your destiny, and the mists of the future will clear into brilliant reality. Affirmation here is, I have all the power I need to create the destiny I desire. Magic happens when I live in consciousness and my eternal truth. And last but not least, 52, Goddess of the Moon, or Goddess and the Moon. What an interesting two cards to end this out on. Goddess of the Moon, intuition and going within. This card shows an eternal spirit holding the bright, reflective moon and standing in front of the crystal clear waters of a sparkling waterfall. Her arms are stretched upward, receiving the light of the moon, the light of inspiration. This card is all about intuition, the ability to receive insights from your soul's point of view. Receiving the card upright tells you that you have the power to get intuitive information on all types of issues, and now is the time to use it. The goddess of the moon brings you all sorts of information, from the mundane to the spectacular. For instance, you could get the urge to take a different route home from work and find out later that you've avoided a 3-hour traffic jam. Or you might have an idea for a great invention, a stock investment, or a spellbinding novel. This card could also indicate a significant blossoming of psychic ability and mediumship, even on a professional level. You're always blessed with this ability to connect, but this card is telling you that now is the perfect time to open up. Get ready for the amazing inspiration this brings. The affirmation here is, I have a strong intuitive voice. I freely receive guidance, and I understand and trust the messages I receive. Oh, hold up. Oh, gosh, I had to pop out that elbow. That was a lot, but it feels like there's this very, it could be romantic. I mean, with the daughter romance, it could be romantic, or it could eventually turn romantic. The thinking man is looking at that daughter romance. The man holding the coin and the man holding the heart look like the same dude, and they're both facing forward. The only number missing here is 44. But instead of 44, we have the 33. And then we have this rest and rejuvenation. So I feel like for a long time, or maybe our journeys primarily started out as ones that were related to attracting a certain individual or a certain type of individual into our lives, maybe very outwardly focused. But eventually, with rest and rejuvenation going into journey, we have the opportunity to turn that into this inward journey, right? There's the 19 and the 2. 19 is the sun, 2 is the high priestess. And so maybe it was illuminated to us. I mean, it probably definitely was, that the real work that we're doing is on the inside. And then we attract from the inside what we want on the outside, which leads us into Michael, Archangel, first chakra, the magician in the mirror, and the goddess of the moon, which is all about resolving those things within self with this Michael root energy, handling and dealing with the things that we need to handle and deal with that keep us from operating in the fullness of our power. And once we discover the fullness of that power, it's about wielding it, harnessing it to create the future that we want, but also to have this element of connection that is also present. So whatever we create, whatever we do, it's in alignment with the natural and spiritual and other worlds. Bottom of the deck is the door to personal healing and happiness. And again, that's the 34. We started with that door to romance, but the door to romance led us, or if it resonates, it does. It led us to the door to personal healing and happiness, which again was what led us to this resolution with Michael that puts us in a position to be these magicians and these goddesses now. So that's what I got. I'm actually gonna pull one more deck just for this, for the overall part, and it's the affirmators because I can read the book now. So fun fact, in my personal life, I've had vision issues that I thought were, girl, I thought they were going to be around forever, but apparently I was dead wrong. And so while I've been finishing everything else I've been finishing, that just got thrown on my plate about a month ago. Everything happened so fast. And I can see now, girl. I can read. So funny how things work out like that. That's one of the things that I was not expecting to have this year. That's like when I was talking about how 2 years ago I had to make peace with everything that I was losing, girl. That was it. But now, 2 years later, come to find out what I thought I was losing, what I thought I would never get, what I had already begun to begin like tailoring my life around, all of the things that I was already ready to limit myself in, all of those ways. Now it's like not even a thing. So that's interesting. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups have come out. So two eights. Right off the bat, this is about walking away from the thorns in our side of the past. Maybe we were trying to grow things that weren't necessarily for us. Maybe at the time we didn't see better alternatives, and so instead of walking away, we decided to stay. But it's like once you begin the journey, then the path reveals itself forward. And it takes you from that Five of Pentacles space where you're feeling like you're on the outside of spaces that you should be on the inside of to being inside. So, Five of Pentacles, let's see. Well, I said I can read now. Let's see how well I can. Let's see how well I can actually read. Oh, because this is still hard to. Oh, wait, there it is. Okay. So, Five of Pentacles, certainly not a basket of rose petals. The Five of Pentacles is the hallmark card that says, sorry about your financial problems and or the general feeling of pervasive scarcity. The real message here is that it's time for you to take your eyes off your empty wallet and reconnect to the richness of non-material things. You'll soon remember that loving relationships don't cost a thing, except when you have to take them to Disneyland. Gulp. And human existence is full of tiny things to be grateful for, like garage sales, where you could probably earn $10 for that empty wallet. And I love that coming out after sort of like that man holding a coin that went into, I guess it went into rest and rejuvenation. But I think even the man holding a coin said like your financial troubles won't like are soon to come to an end or something like that. Now the affirmation here is I am rich in love and oh so see this is still a little difficult. I am rich in love and adventures, which bring me hold up. Which bring me a never ending stream of spiritual wealth. Let me know if you need to hold up. I gotta this will help a lot. That didn't help at all. Let me know if you need to borrow some precious hold up, wait, what? Yeah, this one is still difficult. It's just like dark blue and light blue. Let me know if you need to buy some precious memories. Okay. Girl, goodness. Oh, I guess I was getting ahead of myself a little bit. It's just I gotta learn to get reacquainted to being able to read things. Now, that reminds me of a long time ago when I was talking about we have like spiritual coins and physical pinnacles. And what we attract in the physical is like weighted off of the spiritual coin. And so if we want things in the physical, and that kind of sort of goes back from the door to romance to rest and rejuvenation into Michael at the root. It's about not necessarily focusing on the specifics of what we want and more about increasing the inherent value of our spiritual coin, which leads to us coming into that magician in the mirror / goddess of the moon type of energy to the point where we're able to afford, pay for, create, buy, navigate to whatever it is that we want. Next is the Eight of Cups. Let's see. I'll do my best. Eight of Cups. This card signals the end of an era. Whatever you've accomplished or accumulated up to now is no match for the magnetic pull of a deeper, more spiritual life. You may be choosing this path because the other led to complete emotional burnout. Or you may just be in an enlightenment seeking sort of mood. Whatever the case, you're ready to burn it all down and head for the Buddha, no, the what? The body tree? Or drink some kombucha and read a pamphlet on meditation. I love this thing. It's so funny. Now, the affirmation here is let's see if I can read it. I what? I open to a greater, I feel it. I open to a greater consciousness than I've ever known. But I won't forget that I'm still human from the what? That I won't forget I'm still human. Hold up, y'all. I also discovered the magical, wondrous power of magnifying glasses. Why didn't I use these long ago? I don't know. There we go. Magnifying glasses. There we go. I open to a greater consciousness than I've ever known, but I won't forget that I'm still human from the block. I'm still human from the block. Okay. And that's what I got. I feel like again, there's this message of like the physical earth is like the final element. And a lot of times, especially lately, it's like when we connect to more energetic, spiritual, subtle realms through manifestation, it almost kind of sort of feels like we neglect or reject the physical. And it's like when we start out, that part is necessary because it keeps us from being limited by whatever we've experienced. But It's like you reject the physical up to a certain point, but beyond that point, you have to understand and learn to integrate the physical into your approach, because that's the manner through which it comes. And so it's not to be limited by it, but it's to begin to work in conjunction and in tandem with it. Just like we work with the spiritual, we work with the physical, right? And his left hand is the hand of the flame, and his right hand is the hand of water or whatever. It's bringing balance to both. And so that's what it is. I think that's the Five of Pentacles into this Eight of Cups. It's leaving this primarily physically based life for a more spiritual sort of journey and practice that will eventually sort of lead us back to the physical. But it leads us back to the physical in a new way, in a higher octave. So that's what I got. I hope everyone has a good one whenever you see this. It's been like 3 hours, 10 minutes, and 50 seconds. Did not necessarily plan on being here that long, but it is what it is. And I'm going to close out with one more. Oh, hold on, wait. There it is. I was distracted, but it's fun. All right. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make the best, the beautiful, the wondrous, the miraculous your experience and your reality, because I really, truly, honestly believe that it's possible. Knight of Cups, Page of Swords, and the Star. Okay. Well, that's what we're going to end this on. Page of Swords is about new understand. It's about being open to new ways to think of and perceive and understand and analyze the world around you. The Knight of Cups is about being open to moving forward in a way that is more vulnerable, open, and connected, or based in connection. And then the Star is the light that is self-embodied. This is the Star is self-embodied light. And so it doesn't depend on its situation and circumstances or depend on anyone else to shine, to be bright, to be of light. Now, it's not that you won't have your bad days, but again, it's like when you're a satellite, it's like you're more dependent on this going right. You're more dependent on that going right. You're dependent on this person or this card or that planet or that star to tell you, to guide you, to do whatever. You become a reflection of all of that instead of embodying that which is already within you. And so, although there is no fire here, because usually like fire and air would like amplify each other, or earth and water would be the bed for something new to grow, but instead we have air and water. Now air and water are two elements of erosion and of weathering. And so with a light year, with the star, there's an element of time that's present here. It's very much like a one drop wears away the stone type of energy. But it's like the stone is this prison. And so over time, it's like things have been chipping away at these mountains, at this whatever veils your ability to see, perceive, and perceive. And it's letting in the light of the sun. But it's such a small amount of light, and it seems so far away that we think it's a star. I feel like it's a lot closer than we think it is. And in some ways, it may already be here. We just have to be open to seeing it and to being, walking, living, moving in alignment with it to bring it even closer. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Wands. And I feel like that Ten of Wands is just saying that the time of burden can be over because we have it within ourselves to do so. So that's what I have. I'll catch y'all whenever I catch y'all. Look forward to seeing a new setting, hopefully soon. Don't ask me how soon, but it's happening. Lots of stuff is happening. I love it. It's been a lot of work, but very much so well worth.